A young man kneels in a strange purple void, completely lost and disoriented. He wonders aloud, "What is this place? Am I dreaming or something?" He stares at his hand in shock as a sinister purple light glows from it. His sacred stone is radiating an evil aura he has never seen before. Dark feathers drift down around his hand, which is held against a shimmering purple backdrop. His eye suddenly transforms, the pupil now a demonic slit glowing with intense purple light. A dark, winged figure descends from above, surrounded by falling feathers and a radiant aura. He looks up, clutching a small glowing crystal, completely bewildered by the sight before him. You see, in the otherworldly realm, two powerful forces dominate everything. On one side, the monstrous and terrifying demons, and on the other, the angelic and holy divine spirits. For ages, these two forces waged a catastrophic and seemingly endless war against each other. But that long war finally ended with a decisive, terrifying victory for the demons. About a decade ago, their hungry eyes turned toward the human world, tearing a vortex in the sky. Humanity was utterly powerless, unable to resist as the demon army began to wipe them out. But then a new force arrived, their delicate, white-clad feet stepping onto the battlefield. A beautiful, winged celestial being descends, speaking to a chosen human. "You have the will to fight." She offers a glowing blue crystal, declaring, "We shall grant you the power of the divine spirits." And so humanity began to fight back alongside the spirits with these chosen warriors. They were called hunters, who formed pacts through sacred stones to fight the demons. The world's fate was in their hands. Our story begins 10 km outside of Tokyo in a peaceful mountainous landscape. Three hunters, Hino, Kamiya, and Maido, stand before a swirling purple dungeon gate. "So this is the gate for this time." Hino sizes it up. "It is an E-rank dungeon. Prepare yourselves, let us go." And trailing behind them is a dark-cloaked figure burdened with a massive backpack and scrolls. "This is our guy carrying all the supplies and even the extra supplies. Meet Makoto Asuka, a so-called F-rank hunter who calmly says, 'Ah, no problem here.' As he lugs their gear, the others mock him. 'So much easier when someone carries our stuff,' another sneers. 'Just leave combat to us, little wannabe hunter.' Makoto looks down, sweating. Wannabe hunter, he thinks. For those chosen by the spirits, a sacred stone appears in their hands as the source of their power. And then they are supposed to form a pact with the divine spirit that shows up afterward. For Makoto, this moment of choosing happened 2 years ago. A younger him stood in his room, clutching the glowing stone, smiling. "I did it, I am a hunter too." He gripped it tightly, his resolve firm. "I will never let such a tragedy happen again." His eyes glowed with purpose as he stared ahead, vowing, "I will, definitely." Because a few years ago, during a gate break, demons killed his parents right before his eyes. That blue sacred stone, stained with the memory of blood, was his only ray of hope. In the present day, he runs tirelessly, training day in and day out. His hand grips his sword, counting the swings. 998, 999. He finishes, panting. 1,000, 1,000 swings in under an hour. Wiping his sweat, he sets a new goal. "Next, I will run 20 km. But two men watch from the background, whispering about him with disdain. As Makoto stands exhausted, one of them sneers. "A fake hunter, huh?" They gossip as he runs. It has been 2 years and he is still being ignored by the divine spirits. A useless nobody. In a past mission, he is knocked to the ground, bloody and defeated. Of course, it is impossible. Three hunters stand over him. One yells, "Why do I have to fight while babysitting you?" He grips his sword, desperate. "I can fight too, I have been training, listen." But the harsh reality is, if you do not have a divine spirit, it is all pointless. The hunters walk away, shouting, "Stop trying to act like us, it brings down the status of hunters." He sits alone in a snowy alley, his hope completely shattered. He looks up, filled with grief. Why is it just me? Why has not a spirit appeared for me yet? Unable to form a pact, he lost his place among everyone, becoming a complete outcast. Back in the present dungeon, a hunter summons his spirit, a fiery monster named Flam. The hunter with flaming effects attacks, shouting, "One went over there." The female hunter easily dispatches a monster with her scythe spirit. OHMPH, got it. And the third hunter with his electric spirit fall strikes down another creature. The three stand triumphant. Is that all of them? Too easy, one boasts. But while they are celebrating, a demon looms in the shadows right behind an unsuspecting Makoto. The creature prepares to strike as someone screams a warning. "Wait, behind you." The beast lunges, catching a desperate Makoto completely off guard, but he raises his blade, determined. "I am a hunter too, I will take it down." He stands his ground, ready to face the winged demon head-on. The pink-haired hunter looks down on him with a cruel smile. "Someone like you will never be able to form a pact." Her final words hit him like a physical blow. "This is a fitting end for you." Makoto frantically pounds on a glowing blue gate. "Damn it, open up, open this gate." He stands back, horrified. "Damn it, I let my guard down." He cannot believe they do this. A shadowy, horned creature lunges toward him and he prepares to strike back. But the monster easily blocks his sword with its bare hands, growling. It holds the blade effortlessly. Makoto realizes attacks other than those from divine spirits have no effect. He is cornered as the monster dodges his next move. This is bad. Suddenly, a flaming aura manifests from another hunter's hand, striking the creature. The red-haired man, Hino, enters the fray. "Hey, are you all right?" Makoto gasps, "Sorry and thank you." He quickly moves on, thinking, "Never mind that." Hino pats his shoulder. "Your movements just now were not half bad." Makoto looks back, completely shocked by the sudden compliment. He grips his sword. "I have been training, so I am ready whenever I can form a pact." Hino smiles. "I hope you can form a pact someday too." Makoto's eye glows. He offers a small, genuine smile. "Even if it is just for comfort, I appreciate it." Hino and his companions then turn toward the path ahead, but the red-haired man shares a dark, mischievous grin with his friends. The group stands before a massive stone door at the dungeon's deepest area. So this is where the boss is? Hino turns to the group. Hey, have you heard this kind of story before? He explains that demons have many types and some of them even have unique routines. Makoto looks confused. Routines? Do you mean defeating them by exploiting those routines? A hand in a fingerless glove makes a gesture of confirmation. Exactly. And then it happens. The gate slams shut and Makoto pounds on it, screaming, "Damn it, open up." He stumbles back, the horrible realization dawning on him. I let my guard down, they planned this. A close-up on his wide purple eye shows the pure terror of his situation. He backs away, terrified, as an overwhelming, ominous presence approaches from the shadows. It is the E-rank dungeon boss, a massive horned behemoth with glowing red eyes. Makoto stands paralyzed as the monster's terrifying shadow falls over him. No way, the behemoth strikes and he barely dodges the massive claws tearing through the air. Meanwhile, his teammates are casually playing cards. One says he's dead for sure. A wide shot shows just how small he is in this massive, desolate cavern. He is completely alone. He sprints for his life with the behemoth right behind him. He knows. The chances of me winning are zero, but he spots a weakness. It hasn't fully awakened yet. I can take advantage of that and escape. He sees a small, glowing opening in the cave wall ahead. Hope surges. Over there. He skids to a halt, changing direction to make a break for the exit. The behemoth lets out a deafening roar, its jagged teeth bared as it lunges. Makoto runs, glancing back, his face a mask of fear and intense focus. But he trips, stumbling to his hands and knees on the rocky ground. He looks up, pale and sweating, completely overwhelmed. No way, the glowing exit, his only path of survival, is now blocked by the looming monster. Kneeling before the beast, he remains defiant. Damn it, there should still be some possibility. The next moment, he is trapped in the monster's massive jaws. You have got to be kidding me. He remembers his fallen parents, his own powerlessness. I have not done anything yet. Fueled by pure desperation, he grips his glowing purple crystal. There is no way I will die here. His fist clenches around the stone as it pulses with intense magical energy. He is consumed by a dark, swirling aura erupting from the crystal, his panic turning to shock. Surrounded by sharp, shadowy constructs, he stares at his glowing hand. The dark energy explodes outward, violently impacting the beast in a massive purple blast. He finds himself back in that mysterious purple void. What is this place? Am I dreaming? Clutching the crystal, he sees its evil glow. I have never heard of anything like this. Dark feathers drift down, landing in his open hand, bathed in a mysterious purple light. His eye is wide, reflecting the intense and supernatural aura of this place. A winged, ethereal figure in black descends toward him, and he watches with caution. He stares upward, his expression a mix of confusion and shock. A pale hand reaches out from the darkness, and a voice commands. Human, the winged woman reveals herself, her golden eyes glowing. Form a pact with me. A mysterious, dark sphere of energy pulses on the ground between them. Her elegant, dark wings expand as she repeats her demand, form a pact with me. He looks up, sweating, still confused. She cuts him off. Hurry, she steps onto the rippling magical surface, warning him this space will not last long. The mysterious winged figure looks down at him, her glowing eyes intense. Will you form the pact? She leans in closer, her golden eyes staring him down. Or not. The pressure is on, he is stunned, but it all clicks. She's my divine spirit, the answer is obvious. With newfound resolve, he extends his hand. I'll form the pact, fight alongside me. They clasp hands and a brilliant purple light erupts from their connection. The pact is sealed. She looks at their joined hands, her expression calm. Okay, with this, the pact is now complete. As the ritual ends, dark, ethereal tendrils of power spiral up from his hand. A glowing purple crystal is now embedded in his palm, surging with dark, magical energy. Wrapped in this energy, he floats, feeling the change. So this is a pact, if I have this power. Back in the real world, he stands before the hulking demon, ready for round two. All right, he grips his sword, his face set in fierce concentration as he prepares to attack. He lunges forward with explosive force, the very air cracking around him. Holding his blade, he is amazed. The sound, pressure, and impact are even stronger than before. The demon recoils, its red eyes wide with fury and shock at this sudden surge of power. His boot digs into the ground, crushing the stones beneath. But I'm not the same as I was a moment ago. In a blur of motion, he executes a blindingly fast strike, sending the demon reeling backward. He lands gracefully, crouching low to the ground. He is in awe of his own speed. Incredible. Still crouched, he looks at his hands, panting. I just lightly kicked the ground. So this is the power of a divine spirit. He grips the hilt of his sword, magical energy curling around his fingers, ready for more. He stands tall, a confident, almost predatory smirk on his face. Now it's my turn to strike back. His eye glows with power, the iris a vibrant purple with a slit-like pupil. He remembers what he always knew. That's right, to defeat the demons, I need the power of the divine spirit. But as the monster looms behind him, he screams in his head. But I didn't ask about the ability. Heavy boot slams onto the cracked stone floor, kicking up dust and debris. He runs from the demon as a voice asks in his mind. Can you hear me? He yells back. What exactly is your power? His face is slick with sweat, his eyes wide with shock. What? There's a voice in my head. As he runs, a tiny chibi version of his spirit appears. I forgot to mention it. Pull yourself together. He glares back, stressed. She taunts him. HMPH, you didn't ask. It's your fault. He is not amused. This isn't the time for that. He sprints toward a blinding light as giant, shadowy claws descend from above. A powerful energy arc slashes through the ground, knocking his sword from his hand. He crouches, bracing himself as the beast prepares to charge him again. Dark, swirling purple energy gathers around him. That shadow-like thing from earlier, is that your power? He stands calmly as purple shadows coalesce around his hand. The voice confirms, that's right. The silver-haired woman appears behind him, framed by dark wings. Glad you caught on quickly, your ability is… He holds up his hand, dark tendrils creeping up his arm. The power is called Rebellion Shadow. His hand manipulates the dark matter. It's the ability to freely manipulate shadows. If you focus, you'll understand. His face is a mask of determination, his eyes glowing with intensity. Focus. He shuts his eyes tight, concentrating his energy to master this new shadow power. His hand is enveloped in thick, swirling black energy, solidifying into a tangible form. With a look of awe, he holds his hand aloft. The shadows have formed a razor-sharp blade, a shadow sword. He names the technique shadow weapon. His spirit explains, for now that is the limit of what you can do. A calm, calculated smirk plays on his lips. He is ready for this. He grips the dark energy weapon firmly. This is more than enough. Facing the monstrous beast, he stands his ground. With this, I can fight, he taunts the beast. Were you waiting for me? It glares back. Sorry, but I will not leave any openings this time. The monster lunges forward with incredible speed, its red eyes fixed on its target. It slams into the ground, shattering the rock surface and sending debris flying everywhere. But Makoto is agile, bracing himself with his shadow weapon as he dodges the attack. He executes a swift, powerful strike, severing one of the beast's appendages. The beast reels from the damage, blood spraying as it takes the heavy hit. Makoto's boots plant firmly on the cracked ground, his shadow blade glowing with dark energy. The injured beast watches him, its red eyes widening, shocked by his newfound strength. Glowing with ominous energy, Makoto prepares his next move. This time, I am coming at you. He lunges forward at high speed, his shadow weapon raised for a devastating strike. The beast braces itself as the dark, energized blade swings toward it in a lethal arc. He continues his relentless assault, his shadow blade cutting through the air. He glances back with a sharp, calculating gaze. He has already gauged my range. If so, he dashes toward the monster, wreathed in dark energy, ready to close the distance. The monster's sharp claws scrape against the ground, building the tension. The two adversaries stand poised, ready for the next clash amid the swirling dust. His eyes glowing purple, he channels his power, manifesting a sharp blade of solidified shadow. He lunges through the air, swinging the massive shadow blade in a powerful, sweeping arc. The blade strikes true, piercing deep into the monstrous creature and drawing blood. The beast reacts in pure agony, its face twisted into a scream. Gah! It collapses, its body hitting the ground with a heavy, sickening thud. Standing in the shadows, Makoto smirks. Just as I thought, shadows can change shape freely. He initiates his final attack, a massive purple energy blade descending from above to pin the creature down. A blinding beam of light crashes down, completely decimating the monster. He leaps through the air, his dark blade drawn, closing in for the finishing blow. He remembers the mockery. Such a waste of a sacred stone. He's just a useless nobody. The taunts echo in his mind, a fake hunter, someone like you will never form a pact. It's all pointless. But now, gripping his shadow power, he knows the truth. It was not pointless at all. He descends with his blade raised high, declaring, I've been sharpening my fangs. His face is a mask of pure fury, fangs bared as he screams. For this exact moment, the monster's red eye widens in absolute terror as it stares up at its doom. He slices the monster clean in two, landing firmly as blood rains down around him. Shadows swirl violently around the beast's remains before dissipating into mist. He kneels on the floor, shadows coiling around his arms like a suit of dark armor. He remains kneeling, his shadow energy settling across the desolate, cracked landscape. The dark-winged female figure descends before him, giving a simple nod of approval. No problem. The boy with the purple-streaked hair smiles, telling his new partner, First of all, thank you, you really saved me back there. The winged woman is all business, replying, I only lent you my power, you're the one who did all the hard work. He kneels before her, head bowed in pure gratitude, saying, Even so, I am just so thankful you formed a pact with me. She just stares back at him, her eyes shadowed, lost in a moment of intense, unbroken silence. Still kneeling, he reflects on the fight, gushing. The power of shadows, it felt exactly like a divine spirit's power. He looks up at her, asking innocently, And you beat an E-rank boss, you must be a pretty high-ranking divine spirit, right? Her answer cuts through the air like a blade. No, I am not a divine spirit. She stands tall, her dark wings spread wide as she makes a shocking declaration, I am a demon. The boy's eyes widen in absolute horror, sweat beading on his brow as he stammers out a single word. A dark flashback shows terrifying monsters as the truth hits him. Demons destroyed divine spirits and nearly ended the human world. Humans had to form pacts with divine spirits, becoming hunters just to survive the demon onslaught. He stares up at the woman, the horrible realization crashing down on him. Not a divine spirit, but a demon. She crosses her arms, clutching her shoulders and looking away with a pained, uncomfortable expression. This is clearly not easy for her. The boy, completely distressed, scrambles for words. Well, anyway, I need to hear a few more details about this. They stand together in the desolate cave, the boy assuming the danger has passed. Surely it must be over by now. But hiding behind a pillar, the cowardly hunters watch. The red-haired one mutters, "He is probably monster food by now, huh?" The boy spots them, his voice ringing out in the cavern. "You guys." The hunters are stunned. "How are you still alive? And where's the boss?" "No way, that guy." They watch in horror as he stands beside the winged demon, the terrible truth dawning on them. He formed a pact. The cowards tremble, the red-haired leader sweating bullets. What should we do?" His buddy just growls, "Damn." Their pathetic minds land on a single, cowardly solution. "If he reports what we did, we are totally screwed." The trio channels their magic, lightning, water, and fire as a dark thought forms. "We have no choice but to take him out ourselves." The boy in black looks up, his expression shifting from confusion to shock as he realizes their murderous intent. He rises to his feet, turning to the winged woman and shouting, "Hey you, what is your name?" She stares back, completely caught off guard by his sudden question in the middle of a crisis. After a moment of hesitation, she finally answers, her voice soft. "Renoa." He turns back to his enemies, shadows swirling around him. "That's enough for now. Renoa, lend me your power again." A close-up on Renoa's face shows her golden eyes wide with intense, focused power. She is ready. He lunges, but one of the hunters scoffs. "He's still just a worthless weakling. Let us finish him off quickly." The fire user hovers in the air, mocking him. "Are you really planning to fight us? What is wrong? Are you scared?" But then a terrifying purple aura erupts from behind the boy and Renoa. One of the lackeys gasps, "Idiot, cannot you see?" They are frozen in fear. One thinks, "I have never seen anything like that. It is on a completely different level." The fire user trembles. What is that divine spirit? They have no idea who or what they are dealing with, but one thing is certain, as Renoa is bathed in a formidable purple mist. She has a top-class divine spirit strength. The hunters recoil in absolute terror. No way, that is impossible. They are witnessing power beyond their comprehension. Renoa stands behind him like a queen of shadows. He looks back stunned. "Top class, you say?" A diagram explains the ranks: lower, middle, upper, and the legendary top class, a tier only a select few ever reach. The text drives the point home with chilling finality. They are the strongest class. The boy looks at Renoa, a million questions in his eyes. "Renoa, who exactly are you?" She just points toward the terrified hunters, her expression dead serious. "I do not think we have time for explanations." He slams his boot into the ground, a shockwave cracking the stone. His voice is cold steel. "Do not mess with me." The red-haired man, wreathed in flames, still thinks he has the upper hand. He is just a weakling who got lucky. His two companions are not so sure. The blonde one thinks, even so, if he formed a pact with a top-class divine spirit. The ground cracks under an invisible pressure as a single word echoes in the cave: "Cowards." The flameboy lunges, screaming, "I will show you the true power of a real hunter." A close-up of the boy's intense violet eye reflects the incoming flaming fist. He is completely calm. The fiery punch is stopped dead in its tracks by his bare hand, unleashing a massive shockwave of light. The red-haired man, face twisted in rage, screams as he pours more power into his attack. "Take this." He dodges a flurry of flaming strikes with ease. A small thought bubble appears beside him. "I can see it." He catches a tiny spark of the attack between his fingers, while his opponent grins maniacally, unleashing his special move. A massive beam of dark energy slices vertically through the air, cutting right through the man's ultimate flame attack. The red-haired man stares in absolute disbelief, his eyes wide with shock. He cut through the flames. The boy stands calmly, radiating dark power, and asks his trembling foe, "Are you holding back?" The red-haired man's face is a mask of pure fury and humiliation, his teeth clenched as his ego shatters. He screams from off-screen, "Do not get cocky. You are just a weakling who got lucky with a strong spirit." A tight close-up shows the boy's mouth as he scoffs, his tone dripping with disdain. "Lucky?" Dark energy coils around his hand like smoke as he thinks. "You were able to form a pact immediately, much faster than me." The shadows coalesce into a sharp blade in his grip. His inner voice is firm. "I did not give up." His purple eyes glow with resolve as he declares, "What I gained beyond that, I would not call it luck." The red-haired man's face contorts in a final, desperate scream of pure rage. "Damn you!" Rounded by intense flames, the masked man roars, "I will burn you to ashes with my secret technique." He turns to his terrified allies, shouting, "Do not just stand there. Fight too. If we do not finish this now, it is over for us." The woman and the other man hesitate, their magic flickering weakly. "We have no choice," one says. Damn it," says the other. A hand concentrates a swirling sphere of orange flame, the culmination of their combined, pathetic attack. The red-haired man laughs. "In the end, trash is still trash." His ally nervously asks, "Did we go a bit too far?" But their powerful shockwave sweeps across the ground, only to meet a lone, cloaked figure holding a black blade. The hunters look on in shock as he stands completely unaffected. The leader cries out, "How?" The boy calmly observes the fizzling magic. "I cut through all of them. The boss attacks were way faster than this." He takes a firm step forward on the rocky ground, his voice low and menacing. Now then, radiating an intense purple energy, he stares down the red-haired man. "Are you ready to face me?" A close-up on the hunter's face reveals nothing but pure, unadulterated terror. His hand glows with an unstable flame as a single thought screams in his mind, "Do not mess with me." He lunges forward in a final, desperate rage, shouting, "Do not mess with me, you were just a pathetic wannabe hunter." The boy effortlessly swings a massive, glowing purple blade downward, slicing clean through the man's fiery charge. The shadow blade connects, and the red-haired man recoils with a look of absolute soul-crushing terror. His face is a mask of despair as he asks, "You, what the hell are you?" A shimmering violet crystal on the boy's hand glows, surrounded by swirling dark shadow energy. His hand clenches into a powerful fist, the very space around it seeming to distort with raw power. He strikes the red-haired man directly in the chest with a focused punch, creating a massive explosion of force. The hunter is sent flying backward, blood spraying from his mouth as he crashes to the ground, utterly defeated. The young hunter stands tall, a purple gem glowing in his hand. He declares with unshakable confidence, "I am a hunter." His two remaining enemies scramble away in terror as their leader lies defeated on the floor. A close-up shows the red-haired man unconscious, blood streaming from his nose, his fighting days likely over. The boy looks down at the fallen man, then addresses the two cowards with a cold, serious command, "Take him and get out of here." His purple eyes are piercing and shadowed as he delivers a final, chilling warning, "Do not speak a word of this to anyone." The two survivors cower, trembling in fear, letting out a desperate squeal as they stare at the powerful figure looming over them. They drag their friend away into the darkness, one of them collapsing from fear as the boy watches them go. A close-up shows the vibrant purple gem embedded in the back of his hand, a symbol of his newfound, dangerous power. Renoa floats behind him, curious. "To think you would just punch him," he replies simply. "There was no need to cut him down." He offers her a slight, genuine smile. "Thank you for fighting alongside me." She gazes back, her expression unreadable. A portrait reveals her true beauty, golden eyes, a dark halo, and a gentle, serene smile full of ancient mystery. The dungeon is now silent. A thought bubble appears. "We were in the middle of our conversation," he remembers. "Oh, right." He turns to her, ready for the truth. "Now tell me about how you are not a divine spirit, but a demon." A close-up shows her hand, adorned with a delicate tattoo, clenched into a tight fist, revealing her inner turmoil. Her expression is shadowed and somber as she prepares to reveal the tragic truth of her past. Bathed in an ethereal light, she begins her confession. "I was once a divine spirit of the angel race." She continues her tale, her voice heavy with sorrow. "But due to a certain event, I fell and became a demon." The boy is stunned. Angels are one of the highest-ranking races among divine spirits. This changes everything. She looks at him, her gaze steady, and makes a solemn offer. "If you wish, I can terminate the pact right now." She clutches her hands to her chest, her voice firm yet vulnerable. "Do not hesitate." Her hand rests against her own dark wings as she says, "I being a demon, it is only natural for you to refuse me." The boy with the purple highlight looks away, his expression thoughtful as he processes her incredible story. Then he kneels before her again, but this time for a different reason. "Oh, by the way, I have not introduced myself yet." He gestures to himself with a small smile, formally stating, "I'm Makoto Asuka and I'm 18 years old." Renoa's eyes widen in surprise. A self-introduction, why now of all times? Makoto knows exactly what he is doing. He thinks to himself, "I know Renoa is not a bad person, so I will not cancel the pact." Renoa looks down, a pensive, almost melancholic expression on her face as she understands his gesture. He smiles warmly, his eyes closed. "It is my way of saying that I am counting on you from now on." A close-up shows her lips slightly parted in surprise and quiet acceptance. He has chosen her, bathed in a soft glow, she thinks to herself. "You are a strange person, but if you are okay with it, then so am I." Makoto looks calm and content, a gentle smile on his face. Their pact is now one of true partnership. He stands up, his feet moving across the cracked ground. "Well then," as they walk together toward a swirling portal of light, he says, "Let's head back together, Renoa." But as their silhouettes fade into the portal, a sinister hand with long, sharp claws reaches out from the darkness. In a chaotic, dark dimension, a monstrous horned demon screams, "He. So that fallen angel really did betray us, huh?" His pale, long-haired companion coldly replies, "Shut up. Even if that winged insect betrayed us, it has no effect on us." The horned demon flashes a wide, menacing grin full of sharp teeth. "But it is kind of amusing, right?" He stands against a backdrop of stormy purple clouds, adding, "I thought it would be at least entertaining to watch." The scene shifts dramatically to a quiet cityscape under a full moon, a world away from demons and dungeons. A peaceful view of Makoto's apartment building at night shows the stark contrast between his two lives. A plaque on a door reads 303. Makoto's voice says, "We are here, this is my house." His hand, with the purple crystal still embedded in it, reaches out to flip on the light switch. The room is empty, a simple bed, some moving boxes, and a trash can. The balcony door is taped shut with a giant X. Makoto, looking tired with a towel around his neck, tells Renoa, "Go ahead and sit anywhere and wait." The winged demon walks into the sparse room, looking around in complete silence. What can she even say? She sits on the floor near the table, her gaze fixed on the taped-up balcony door. The silence is deafening. Finally, she breaks it. "Is this really a place where a human would live?" Makoto asks. "Is something wrong?" She bluntly explains. "It is not much different from the caves in the demon world, just a place to keep out the rain." Makoto hangs his head in defeat, muttering, "That is it. I mean, it is just a place to sleep, but still." Trying to salvage the situation, he asks her, "Renoa, is there anything you like?" She looks up, repeating the question. Something I like, he clarifies. It can be anything, even just a thing. Renoa's expression softens as she gives her simple, elegant answer. Beautiful scenery, Makoto thinks to himself. I see, I guess that makes sense for a former angel. An idea strikes him. If you'd like, Renoa, should we try putting some flowers here? He gestures to the empty space, adding, I thought they might look nice. Renoa offers a small, genuine smile. Good taste, flowers are a great idea, Makoto beams, pointing a finger in the air. Then from now on, let us buy some flowers every time we clear a dungeon. A close-up captures Renoa's face as she offers a subtle, gentle smile. A promise has been made, but the day's events have taken their toll. Makoto yawns. I am exhausted, maybe I should sleep early. Renoa's hand touches the bed as she asks a very simple yet very complicated question. Is this your bed? Renoa states the obvious. Yeah, that is right. Meanwhile, Makoto is already changing clothes, not thinking about the implications. She lies down on the bed looking thoughtful. It is a bit cramped for two people to sleep in. Makoto freezes, completely startled. You plan on sleeping together, she replies calmly. In heaven, that was always the norm. He points at her, totally flustered. Wait a minute, can divine spirits even sleep outside of their sacred stones? She sits up, admitting. I do not think I can, he sighs in relief. Then how about you return to the sacred stone? Her form dissolves into dark smoke, flowing into the purple crystal on his hand. Got it. Good night, Makoto. Makoto stares at the glowing crystal on his hand, his heart still pounding from that near miss. Lying awake in the dark, he wonders, what should I do starting tomorrow? He looks at the crystal. If people find out I am contracted to a demon, I will have to go solo. He clenches his fist, making a resolution. The only dungeon I can clear solo is an F rank. I will start there. The next day, he arrives at the massive, modern headquarters of the Japan Hunter Association. He checks in with Renoa. Are you feeling any pressure? Her voice replies from the stone. No problem, it is a good decision. He nervously touches the back of his hand. A purple sacred stone is really going to stand out, though. He steps up to the front desk, ready to register for the lowest level dungeon available. The receptionist confirms his request. Understood, you are taking on the F-rank dungeon, right? He replies. Yes, please. Suddenly, a massive commotion erupts in the lobby, startling both Makoto and the receptionist. A crowd is gathering around a legendary figure. No way, it is the real deal, he almost never shows up here. All eyes are on a pair of stylish boots. Someone whispers, he is way too handsome. And there he is, S-rank hunter Amagi Yugo, holding a bottle of booze, declaring, there's nothing better than a drink to wake you up. He takes a long swig from his bottle right in the middle of the lobby. A bystander shouts, he is actually drinking in the middle of the day. The crowd goes wild, fans screaming and reaching out for autographs from the celebrity hunter. The blonde man, Amagi Yugo, looks slightly flushed but completely unfazed by the chaos, thinking, as usual. He glances over at the reception desk with a look of utter indifference. Not much has changed around here. But then his blue eye widens in surprise as he spots something or someone that finally catches his attention. Makoto, caught in the S-ranker's gaze, looks startled and brushes his hair back nervously. He recognizes the man, thinking, that guy, he is an S-rank hunter. How did we just make eye contact? Yugo gives him a sharp, confident, and slightly predatory smirk. He has found something interesting. He strolls right up to the counter, ignoring everyone else. Hey, what is your name and rank? Makoto points to himself in utter confusion, thinking, are you talking to me? Yugo sighs, looking bored already. It's been a while since I have spoken to someone who is not a girl. The dark-haired boy responds nervously. My name is Makoto Asuka, I'm an F rank. Yugo seems to process this information, thinking simply, I see, got it. He looms over the much smaller Makoto, bottle in hand, and murmurs. F-rank, huh? Makoto, now deeply uncomfortable, asks, do you need something from me? Yugo suddenly dismisses him, nah, sorry for interrupting, and begins to walk away. But then he turns back with a dramatic, sparkling wink, pointing at Makoto. If you have time, let's grab tea sometime, cute young lady. He strikes a final, dazzling pose. See you, Makoto, and with that the whirlwind is gone. Makoto stands frozen in place, a single bewildered thought running through his mind. Was that flirting? The receptionist behind the counter, however, is having a complete meltdown. Wah, are you okay? She trembles, thinking. Lord Amagi spoke to me, is this a dream? While Makoto just wants to finish his request, Makoto is still completely baffled by the encounter. What was that about for such a famous and strong person? The receptionist finally snaps out of it and hands him a tablet. Here are the coordinates for the gate. He stands before the portal, steeling himself. Let us get back on track. This is my first time doing this alone. The gate opens into a vibrant, magical forest filled with glowing light and floating leaves. Surrounded by swirling purple energy, Makoto stands before the shimmering rift. This should be the right place, right? Checks the tracking data on the tablet, confirming his location. Yeah, it seems fine. A close-up shows his focused, determined expression. He is ready for whatever this F-rank dungeon has to throw at him. A powerful blast of purple energy radiates from the rift as he steps through into the unknown. Inside, the atmosphere is heavy and oppressive. Somehow this dungeon has a really heavy atmosphere, he thinks. Renoa appears behind him, asking, Makoto, is it true that F-rank demons are the weakest? He starts to reply, yeah, but... As they walk through the dark, reddish cave, he asks, Renoa, are you sensing something? Before he can finish, a monstrous clawed creature lunges from the shadows in a blur of blue energy. Makoto's eyes widen in alarm as he summons his dark, shadowy weapon barely in time to defend himself. The Chaos Wolf strikes, its blue aura clashing against his dark defenses in a fierce, high-speed impact. His boot slams into the ground as he is forced back by the sheer power of the surprise attack. The wolf leaps through the air, its blue energy trails cutting through the darkness like deadly ribbons. Renoa stands guard behind him. "Are you okay?" He kneels, breathless. "Yes, somehow." He watches the blur of movement, thinking, "What is that?" It is moving at an insane speed. Suddenly, more red eyes appear in the darkness. They are surrounded by a whole pack of snarling chaos wolves. Renoa asks the question on both their minds, is not that a D-rank demon? Makoto knows something is very, very wrong. Overwhelmed, he realizes this is not just any dungeon. This is a D-rank death trap. He and Renoa are completely surrounded, his shadowy blade the only thing between them and the snarling pack. His heart sinks as he confirms the obvious, the gate is sealed shut. There is no running away. He glances at Renoa, admitting his own weakness. "You know, my current state is not great." His hand tightens on his sword. Taking on this many at once seems absolutely impossible. Renoa, however, remains perfectly calm, her eyes sharp as dark energy gathers around her. He forces himself to focus. "Think later. First, I just need to thin their numbers." He locks onto a single wolf, his strategy simple: pick one and make sure it goes down. He lunges forward with total focus, but a massive claw slices down from above, aiming to crush him. He barely manages to block the attack, the force of the impact jarring him to the bone. Sweat flies from his face, his eyes wide with shock at the creature's blinding speed. Another wolf slashes at him, and he grunts in pain as he is thrown back by the blow. His gloved hand desperately holds onto his dark blade, the only thing keeping him in the fight. He is stuck in the middle, realizing the wolves are attacking with perfect, terrifying coordination. "Think," he screams at himself, dark aura flaring. "There has to be a way out of this." A horrifying close-up reveals a wolf's gaping maw, its sharp teeth ready to tear him apart. He seizes an opening, plunging his dark blade deep into one of the monster's necks. But as one falls, another one leaps from the side, forcing him to keep swinging. He grits his teeth, his face a mask of pain and pure, desperate effort. He slams his foot down, kicking up a cloud of dust to create a moment's chaos. Kneeling and exhausted, he pants. Every single one of them is ridiculously strong. And they are smart too, attacking the instant they spot an opening. Is there no way to win? Renoa watches from a distance, thinking to herself that she will wait and see what he does. He stands surrounded, the wolves' red eyes glowing in the dark, their blue energy crackling with hunger. One of the beasts glares, its glowing red eye promising a painful end. Sweat drips down his face. He knows what he has to do, but the silence is deafening. Steals himself? It is way too risky, but it is the only plan I have got. He raises his gloved hand, and the dark purple energy of his ability begins to swirl around it. He stands firm, concentrating as the shadowy power gathers under his complete control. Renoa's eyes widen in shock. He is erasing his own ability. If he does that, the wolves see their chance. They all lunge at once, sensing his vulnerability. He swings his arm down, shouting the name of his technique: Shadow Weapon. A massive spike of dark energy slams into a wolf's face, the raw power of the blow undeniable. He unleashes a massive arc of darkness, blasting all the creatures back and clearing the space around him. Panting, he feels a wave of relief. "Whoa, I reactivated it just in the nick of time." Renoa appears impressed. "You created an opening on purpose to wipe them out, not bad." She looks around, confused. "But this does not make any sense. This is not the bottom level." His face goes pale as he admits, "I do not know why, but this has to be a D-rank dungeon." The grim reality sets in. A D-rank is tough for him, but now that he is inside, Renoa states the cold, hard fact: the only way out is to defeat the boss at the end. He stands in the desolate cavern, staring down the dark, empty path that leads deeper inside, but suddenly another horde of glowing wolves emerges. "You have got to be kidding me." Renoa's voice reassures him. "Do not worry, things are a little different now than they were before." She instructs him to raise a hand and imagine shadow chains locking onto a single target. Dark energy swirls around his fingers as he raises his hand, a look of pure astonishment on his face. Jagged obsidian chains burst from the shadows, crackling with immense magical power. The chains shoot forward, wrapping around a wolf and binding it completely in shadow. He grips the chains, feeling the power surge. This new ability is called Shadow Bind. His purple eyes are wide with excitement, a brand new skill just unlocked mid-dungeon. In a flash, the chains lash out again, ensnaring another wolf before it can even react. The massive beast struggles and bleeds, but the dark chains hold it fast, completely helpless. He watches, a mix of surprise and confidence growing on his face as he controls the magic. A bound wolf lunges desperately, but the shadow chains hold it firm, stopping it dead in its tracks. He thrusts his hand forward, shouting the name of his new favorite toy: Shadow Bind. The wolf is pinned to the ground, and he realizes just how powerful this restraining skill is. He turns to Renoa, practically buzzing with excitement. "Renoa, this is incredible and so easy to use." She warns him that it uses a lot of magic, but he is already focused on moving forward. The path ahead is now clear, leading into the dark, ominous entrance of a deeper cave. He stands victorious, not even feeling tired after wiping out that massive crowd of monsters. The defeated beasts lie on the ground. Hunters grow stronger with every demon they defeat, and he is living proof. A smile spreads across his face. "I see, I am actually getting stronger." He turns toward the darkness, his mind made up. "Let us go." Renoa observes that his rapid growth is only possible because he'd already trained his body so well. She adds that his mental strength and quick thinking are top-notch too. A small smile plays on her lips. She is genuinely excited to see what he will do next. He finally arrives at a massive, looming gate. This is the deepest part of the dungeon. Standing before the gate, he looks incredibly small in the vast, empty cavern. He whispers his own name, Makoto, as if reminding himself who he is and what he is here for. He turns to Renoa, sensing her hesitation. What is wrong? His expression hardens with resolve. It is a hunter's duty to clear dungeons. He stares at the imposing gate. Only a true hunter can open the door to the boss room. He admits to himself that he is scared of a D-rank boss, but also incredibly excited. This is it. His chance to finally prove that he is a real hunter. But Renoa thinks to herself, not so fast, we are just getting started. He clenches his fist, his resolve hardening. This is not the end of his journey. He reaches for the darkness, vowing to make it back alive to save the world. His gloved hand grips the heavy, cold handle of the massive gate. The doors begin to open, revealing a swirling vortex of dark, ominous energy within. He stands before the open gate, framed by the menacing aura pouring out from the boss room. A single drop of sweat rolls down his face, his eyes wide with focus and raw nerves. The D-rank boss is revealed, a monstrous hell scorpion with glowing yellow eyes. He immediately notices its outer shell looks incredibly tough, like it is made of armor. His body trembles slightly as he grips his sword, wondering if the shell is more like mineral than metal. Renoa's voice cuts through his thoughts. You are shaking, are you scared? Dark energy swirls around his hand as he tries to deny it. No, I am fine, this is just… He forces a smile, but the sweat on his face gives him away. Just battle jitters. The scorpion strikes with blinding speed, its pincer aimed right at him. Its massive claw slams into the ground, creating a powerful shockwave that kicks up dust and debris. The sharp pincer digs deep into the stone floor, a terrifying display of its destructive power. He leaps away just in time, realizing that a direct hit would have been the end of him. The scorpion's pincer glows with a blue light as it slices through the air again. He struggles to block the attack, gritting his teeth as his dark energy clashes with the monster. Sparks fly as his sword scrapes uselessly against the scorpion's armored body. His blade just cannot seem to penetrate the dense, obsidian-like armor at all. He hangs awkwardly off the creature, panting in frustration. Damn, it is as tough as I thought. The scorpion sweeps its tail in a wide arc, forcing him to scramble backward to avoid being impaled. He needs a new plan. He will dodge its attacks while searching for any potential weak spots. An idea hits him. No matter how tough the armor, the joints should be weaker. As he dodges and weaves, Renoa watches silently from below, her expression impossible to read. He tests his theory, striking at the scorpion's leg joint, the clang of his sword echoing in the cavern. The hell scorpion lunges, its multiple yellow eyes glowing with rage and shadowy energy. Makoto leaps onto its back, driving his shadow blade down with all his might, but the attack just creates sparks. His blade does not even leave a single scratch on its armor. The monster thrashes violently, throwing him off and sending him flying through the air. Shaken, he calls out to Renoa for any ideas, his own tactics clearly failing. She confirms the bad news. At his current level, he is just not strong enough to damage it. He narrows his eyes with determination. So I have to surpass my own limits, huh? The scorpion lunges again, its claws shaking the ground as Makoto barely dodges the lethal strike. He thrusts his hand forward, shouting "Shadow Bind," to try and immobilize the beast. The dark chains wrap tightly around the monster's limbs, temporarily stopping its rampage. He keeps the beast bound as he leaps back, but it is already struggling to break free. The monster's reach is immense, he barely avoids being crushed. That was way too close. Suddenly, a small cracking sound echoes from the scorpion's armor. He spots it immediately. A visible crack has appeared on its shell. This is the opening he has been looking for. He realizes slashing will not work. He needs blunt force to shatter the weakened armor. As the scorpion prepares another attack, Makoto is already moving, readying a new strategy. He swings his shadowy blade in a massive arc, focusing all his energy into a crushing blow. But the monster's attacks are getting even fiercer now that it has been wounded. He knows slashing will not work, but just changing the sword's size will not be enough either. Renoa's voice cuts in. Makoto, remember the first time you used shadow weapon? His eyes widen as her words trigger a memory, a crucial piece of the puzzle clicking into place. He remembers her advice now, the dark energy around him swirling with his realization. So that is it, he exclaims, his shadow weapon ready for a transformation. He leaps into the air, dodging another crushing attack from the enraged scorpion below. Renoa calmly points out the obvious. He cannot dodge forever while he is in midair. The scorpion fires a barrage of sharp ice crystals, forcing him to evade the deadly projectiles. He smirks, channeling dark energy into a chain. He was counting on this. Now airborne, he uses his shadow chain to swing around and attack the scorpion from above. His hand clenches the dark chain, magical energy crackling as he prepares his next move. He descends rapidly, swinging a new massive shadow weapon down with incredible force. He reaches into a vortex of purple-tinged shadow, shaping the darkness into a new form. Renoa calls out the technique's name as he attacks. Shadow weapon. The massive, blunt weapon smashes down on the scorpion, crushing its armor with a decisive blow. He looks on, surprised and thoughtful, as he processes the power of his new technique. The defeated scorpion lies motionless. He admits to himself, I was being too stubborn. He realizes his shadow weapon could create more than just swords this whole time. He gives credit where it is due, he only figured it out thanks to Renoa's hint. He complains that she could have just told him, but she insists realizing it himself was more important. Standing over the boss's remains, he has to agree. In the end, it was a good experience. Renoa jokes that unexpected growth is great, but he nervously hopes it is not always this life-threatening. The next day, he is back in the city, standing outside a modern high-rise building. A woman in a uniform bows deeply, apologizing profusely for her mistake with the dungeon rank, but he just smiles kindly, telling her not to worry since he grew a lot from the experience. She thanks him and confirms the reward will be transferred to his account shortly. He glances at the payment details, 1.5 million yen for a solo D rank clear. The woman bows again, thrilled with his performance and hoping to work with him again soon. She smiles brightly, calling out to him as he leaves. Mr. Hunter, he turns, a bandage on his cheek, a little surprised by her enthusiasm. He cannot help but smile back, giving a cheerful yes. In response, he asks Renoa if they should go buy some flowers as they had discussed. He muses that he can finally afford a nice bouquet just as a green-haired woman walks past. His eyes widen in confusion. Something about that person felt strangely familiar. He turns around, calling out his own name. Makoto, as if in disbelief, he stares, completely stunned. Kazin, he asks, recognizing his old friend. The green-haired woman, Kazin, waves cheerfully. Long time no see, how have you been? He excitedly tells her he finally contracted a divine spirit and is working hard as a hunter. She beams at him, genuinely happy. That is awesome, you have been trying for so long. Bystanders start whispering about the famous B-rank hunter Kazin talking to a wannabe. He starts to sweat under the attention while Renoa silently wonders who this girl is. A caption explains, this is Ryuka Kazin, his childhood friend and a famous, talented hunter. And as far as he knows, there is one very important thing about her. She hates demons more than any other hunter he has ever met. A flashback shows them as kids, always playing together at the local playground. Even as they grew older and became students, they were always by each other's side. But then a memory of a dark, chaotic night struggling to pull her away from a horned demon. His face is a mask of pure panic, a sudden, horrifying realization dawning on him. In a blur of motion, a deep, bloody gash is torn across his leg. The demon looms over him as he screams at Kazin to run and save herself. She screams back in horror, "Big brother," as he tells her that she has to survive. The demon's blade strikes him again and again as Kazin's desperate screams echo in the darkness. 2 years ago, around the same time as that tragedy, both he and Kazin obtained their sacred stones. He remembers telling her that his divine spirit still had not appeared. He felt he could not fulfill their promise to fight together as hunters. She looked at him with shadowed eyes, understanding but unable to stop her own journey. And so their paths diverged, leaving him behind while she forged ahead. Back in the present, Kazin happily eats a parfait, declaring it is the best she has ever had. She is amazed he solo cleared a D-rank dungeon right after getting his spirit, even if he is still F-rank. She tells him he is impressive, living up to his name, Makoto, which means truth. Then she gets to the real question, what kind of divine spirit did he form a pact with? He's taken aback by the sudden question, wondering how he's supposed to answer that. Renoa chimes in saying she can appear anytime, which only makes Makoto panic more. He quickly lies, telling Kazin his spirit is just a little shy and hard to introduce. Renoa grumbles that she is not shy, it is just complicated, and tells him to shut up. Kazin accepts his excuse and decides to introduce her own divine spirit instead. A tall, distinguished spirit named Wave appears, an upper-ranked spirit of the wind. Wave bows politely and Makoto is stunned by how formal and well-mannered he is. Kazin then asks if he's going to take the rank reassessment test soon. She presses him, saying he should use the time until the next test to get stronger. Then she drops the big one, she wants to tackle a C-rank dungeon together. Makoto's face shows his inner conflict. He is sweating, clearly concerned about the offer. He knows the power gap between them is huge and he'd just be a burden, especially with Renoa. Kazin just smiles, her eyes shadowed, making it hard to tell what she is really thinking. He used to be the one leading her, but now he cannot pass up this chance to grow. But then Kazin's true feelings burst out. She's just happy they can finally go on a mission together. Later that night, under a full moon, a meeting is taking place in a modern skyscraper. The sign on the door reads First Conference Room, a place for serious business. Inside, top officials are gathered, and the main topic is a new threat, the Majin. These are powerful, intelligent, humanoid demons ranked a class or even higher. They have been quiet for years, but recently a dozen hunters have already fallen victim to them. The association president looks grave, stating that the strength of the Majin is truly exceptional. An old veteran laughs, wishing he were young enough to hunt these new threats himself. But Section Chief Miss Hima is defensive, insisting her system shows all gates are cleared properly. A latecomer observes that the Majin only appear after the gate is cleared. And speak of the devil, Amagi stumbles in, bottle in hand, surprised the meeting already started. Completely flushed, he playfully teases Miss Hima, telling her not to ruin her pretty face with anger. Meanwhile, a digital screen displays the profiles of those involved in these strange incidents, and just like that, a drunken thought strikes Amagi. I see, he says, I might have an idea. The old man is skeptical, but Amagi, full of liquid courage, insists they leave it to him. With a confident smile, he takes his leave, promising to handle the problem personally. The scene shifts to a young man, his expression growing tense as he prepares for something. Amagi, still nursing his drink, walks off ready to see if his wild prediction is correct. We are now in a dark, graffiti-covered corridor, the air thick with mystery and danger. Suddenly, a violent blast of purple energy erupts, tearing through the desolate hallway. A dark-haired man asks his companion if she is nervous, and she admits she is, just a little. After all, they are facing a higher-ranked level, and the fate of Renoa weighs heavily on her mind. She takes his hand, promising to protect him no matter what happens. He is reassured, but he is determined to prove he is not just someone who needs protecting. They stand together in the eye of a swirling purple energy storm, ready for the worst. And from the shadows, two monstrous bat-winged demons emerge, their red eyes glowing with malice. The man calmly gathers dark purple magic in his hand, his focus absolute as he prepares to fight. He decides to assess the situation first, his purple eyes scanning the battlefield. But his companion with long green hair has other plans, instantly lunging with a glowing green scythe. The scythe connects with a sickening squelch, spraying dark blood everywhere. The man, Makoto, is completely stunned, sweating as he watches her whirlwind of destruction. Her eyes glow with terrifying intensity as she declares that all demons must be eradicated. He realizes her hatred and the power that comes with it is far beyond his expectations. She takes a step forward, her senses on high alert. Her glowing scythe hums as she detects another demonic presence nearby. Her eyes narrow with suspicion as she looks directly at her partner and asks, "Could it be Makoto?" Makoto panics internally. This is bad. He's been discovered right at the start. The confrontation is tense, her scythe ready as she repeats his name, questioning him. He cannot believe it. Of all the ways this could have gone, he got caught immediately. His hand is still cloaked in the dark, shadowy energy she must have sensed. The woman, Kazane, misinterprets the situation, thinking a demon escaped her initial attack. She warns him to stay alert, and he agrees, realizing she sensed his own demonic power. It seems her sensitivity to demonic energy is a double-edged sword. She probably sensed the magic coming from his unique shadow ability. He sees the intense hatred in her eyes and knows explaining his situation now is impossible, especially after witnessing her ruthless efficiency just moments ago. Before he can think of a plan, a massive swarm of winged demons descends upon them from the darkness. Kazane does not hesitate, shouting Wind Spirit's mantle as green energy envelops her. A demon recoils in pure shock as her powerful wind magic strikes it head-on. She leaps into the air, a green comet of destruction descending upon the demonic swarm. Her glowing strike pierces through a demon's chest, causing an eruption of blood. She continues her aerial assault, a blur of motion leaving trails of death in her wake. After clearing the sky, she hovers, her expression calm and utterly focused. Makoto watches in awe, amazed that she can literally fly using the power of wind. As a demon lunges for him, he resolves to handle the threats on the ground himself. He meets the demon head-on, striking with his own dark, shadowy energy. He surrounds his foes with swirling shadows, confidently telling Kazane to leave it to him. These demons are stronger than the last, but he's grown stronger too. He channels his power, shouting shadow weapon. As the darkness in his hand takes a new form, he fires a blast of solid shadow, a makeshift gun formed from pure magic. The blast obliterates the demons, slicing through them with brutal force. Kazane looks down in disbelief. His sword just turned into a gun. She lands, mentioning that the demonic presence she felt from him is gone now, so it is probably fine. Makoto breathes a sigh of relief. He is not caught yet, but her detection skills are terrifyingly good. A question hangs in the air: is he planning to just keep this up forever? Because the demon Renoa is not just some monster, she is his reliable and trusted partner. If only he could explain. But Kazane's absolute hatred for demons stands in his way. Makoto is overwhelmed with anxiety, sweating as he wonders what he should do. They arrive at a massive glowing door, and Kazane asks if he is focused for the boss fight. He tries to play it cool but immediately admits he can't calm down at all. Of course he is nervous. It is a C-rank boss, a higher rank than he has ever faced. But Kazane clenches her fist, reminding him he is not alone. "Just go all out," she says. He takes a deep breath. The conversation can wait until after they have won. They share a fist bump, a silent promise to fight together. A massive dark red impact shakes the entire chamber as the boss makes its grand entrance. It is a giant cyclops, and its overwhelming presence is enough to make Makoto tremble. Kazane activates her wind spirit's mantle, her eyes burning with hatred. No demon will be spared. The Cyclops swings its massive club, but Kazane dodges with impossible agility. Makoto acts fast, summoning dark, shadowy chains that coil around the monster's weapon. "Shadow bind," he shouts, restraining the giant and stopping its attack cold. With the Cyclops held in place, Kazane lunges forward, striking it directly in the torso. The monster's single eye widens in pure shock as it lets out a deafening scream of pain. Her strike carves through the air, forcing the giant to stagger backward from the impact. Amidst the chaos, they call out to each other, their timing perfectly in sync. Makoto moves with incredible speed, his boots ablur as he dashes across the cavern floor. They unleash a synchronized cross-strike, their glowing blades slicing through the monster's chest. Makoto lands a final, precise blow, smirking as he shouts, "Perfect timing." Then next, he moves in a blur of dark energy, rushing forward for another attack. He leaps through the air, his jagged shadow weapon striking the massive red Cyclops. Kazane smiles, realizing they are on the same wavelength, both aiming to disrupt its position. As the monster roars in fury, she dives in, ready to strike with her wind magic. Makoto summons his purple chains again, wrapping them tightly around the roaring beast. With his eyes glowing, he yells that binding it is easy now that it is weakened. Go for it, Kazin. Her hands glow with brilliant green light as she thanks him for the opening. She takes her stance, unleashing a massive attack she calls Wind Shower. A colossal pillar of blinding light erupts from her, the sheer power distorting the air. Makoto can only watch with a smile of genuine awe, whispering, "Amazing!" The fight when Kazin rushes toward him, her expression bright and cheerful. She raises her hand for a high five, shouting nice. Absolutely elated by their victory, Makoto blushes slightly, a bit flustered by the sudden happy moment. Their hands meet with a spark of light as they both yell in celebration. He reflects on how oddly in sync they were, but that is just how it has always been with Kazin. But he cannot be satisfied with this. There is still something he needs to do. A spirit-like figure appears, praising their teamwork, and Kazin proudly agrees. She extends her hand, confident that with their partnership they can go anywhere. Makoto gulps, his expression turning serious. The moment of truth has arrived. He stands before her, his tone somber as he says there is something he needs to tell you. He pulls the glove from his hand, a silent confession hanging in the air. The two friends stare at each other, the atmosphere crackling with sudden, unspoken tension, but before he can speak, they are forced to leap apart as a new threat emerges. A powerful burst of dark red energy erupts between them, tearing through the cavern. A single boot steps onto the ground, surrounded by an intense, glowing red aura of immense power. Makoto and Kazin watch in terror as a figure reveals itself. "What is that?" Makoto exclaims. A pale, demonic hand with sharp fingers reaches out from the swirling abyss. The demon Grom stands shirtless with horns, a twisted, sadistic grin on his face. His golden eyes and sharp fangs are on full display as he leers. "I have finally found you." He lunges forward, enveloped in a terrifying aura of jagged, dark energy. Makoto trembles. The sheer malevolence from this demon is on a completely different level. A humanoid demon, imagine. The rumors were true. Kazin steps in front of Makoto, her expression fierce as she confirms their worst fears. Grom just laughs, baring his fangs as he introduces himself. "So this is Imagine." Makoto realizes the rumors were not exaggerated at all. Kazin knows they cannot win. She tells Makoto to run while she creates a distraction, but he refuses to leave her behind, desperately trying to think of a way for them to escape together. Kazin ignores him, activating her wind spirit's mantle, ready to sacrifice herself. She unleashes a torrent of green wind, a desperate final strike against the demon, but Grom deflects it effortlessly, mocking her. "You look like you are moving in slow motion." Kazin grits her teeth, her face filled with strain as she realizes the gap in their power. Makoto watches the blur of battle, knowing Kazin is giving it her all, but they are on different levels. He clenches his fist, sweating, completely unable to see an opening to intervene. A chaotic strike of green light hits Grom's torso, the force distorting the air. Kazin lands a direct hit with her weapon, screaming as she puts all her power into it. She unleashes a ferocious flurry of slashes, tearing the air apart with her rage. Grom's golden eye just watches with amusement, a predator playing with its food. Kazin leaps high into the air, preparing for her ultimate attack from above. Makoto yells for her to use her secret technique, and she immediately understands. Her hands glow with a blinding green aura as she channels her final, desperate move. Floating upside down, surrounded by emerald energy, she screams the name of her attack. Milestone. A massive, swirling green vortex descends upon Grom, dwarfing him completely. The technique crashes into the earth with overwhelming force, creating a blinding explosion. Grom is caught in the blast, gritting his teeth in annoyance as he defends himself. Kazin lands, panting heavily, her power completely drained from the massive attack. But a heavy boot lands firmly on the ground, signaling the battle is far from over. The demon stands completely unscathed, bored. He calls her ultimate attack a gentle breeze. Kazin's eye widens in pure shock and despair. Her best attack did nothing. Grom mocks her intense grudge against demons, but she defiantly says she will kill every last one. He grins manically, taunting her. "Kill every demon, could it be that you do not know?" Kazin is shocked and angry. "Do not know? What are you talking about?" The demon points down at her partner Makoto and reveals a shocking truth. Makoto clenches his teeth in anger. This guy is revealing his secret. Kazin floats in disbelief, a pact with a demon that cannot possibly be true. She insists Makoto would never do such a thing, and even if he did, he would not hide it from her. Makoto's hand trembles, clenched into a tight fist as the pressure mounts. Kazin demands to know why he is silent, why he will not defend himself. She pleads with him to deny the accusation, but he knows he has to tell the truth. He reveals the glowing purple crystal in his hand, admitting, "It is true, I have made a pact with a demon." From the shadows behind him, a dark, winged demon girl named Renoa emerges. Kazin stares, her expression shifting from anger to pure, unadulterated shock. She sees the demon emerging from his sacred stone, her world completely shattering. Makoto tries desperately to explain Renoa's situation, hoping Kazin will understand. But Kazin's hand trembles as she grips her weapon, the betrayal sinking in. She screams at him, demanding to know why he would make a pact with a demon. Her trust in him is gone. In her eyes, all demons are enemies, and so is he. He reaches out, pleading with her to calm down so they can talk this through. But her expression hardens with cold resolve. She will start with the true threat. She lunges through the air with her weapon, screaming her target's name, Majin. But as her attack collides with Grom, he dismissively mutters a single word, "Annoying." Kazin is sent reeling, hunched over and gasping for air, completely overwhelmed. Grom instantly appears before her, grabbing her by the chest with brutal force. Glowing purple ethereal chains, not Makoto's this time, whip through the air towards her. The demon wraps his shadowy chains around her neck, choking the life out of her. He then turns his attention away from her, his true interest now revealed. Fallen angel. The fallen angel, Renoa, recognizes his unpleasant voice. She never wanted to hear it again. She explains that when she first fell, he almost made her one of them before she escaped. Makoto understands now. Majin are intelligent demons capable of recruiting others. Renoa declares that demons are her enemies too. She would never join them, but Grom smiles wickedly, tempting her with revenge against the spirits who abandoned her. Renoa flares her wings in fury, screaming at him to shut his mouth. He continues his persuasion, promising her the freedom to kill as many as she wants. A demon should live as a demon, he says, trying to corrupt her. Renoa is in turmoil, screaming at him to stop messing with her head. Her wings droop as she begins to speak, her resolve wavering. Her eyes fill with tears as she struggles to define who she is now, but Makoto steps protectively in front of her, declaring, "Renoa is different from you all." The demon is confused. What does he mean? Different. Makoto holds up his crystal. If a demon is something that hurts others without reason, then Renoa is not a demon. He shouts that she is kind, pure-hearted, and his dependable partner. Renoa looks on, her expression filled with concern as she whispers Makoto's name. Grom mocks his pathetic outburst, disgusted by all the sentimentality and camaraderie. He radiates a red aura, declaring he will crush it all just to entertain himself. Renoa watches as Makoto prepares a powerful purple energy attack, focusing on his opponent. The demon looms over them, two small figures bracing for a fight they cannot win. Renoa whispers a plan: exploit his overconfidence to create a chance to escape. It is their only option. But Grom just grins, his fingers transforming into wickedly sharp claws. He lunges forward in a burst of red energy, his clawed hand ready to strike. Makoto grips his sword, his eyes wide with alarm. He is so fast. The demon toys with him, appearing behind him in an instant and pointing the other way. A swift, powerful kick sends Makoto flying backward across the battlefield. He cries out in pain as the violent force tears through his defenses. He lands hard, coughing and struggling to recover as the demon looms over him. Desperate, he extends his hand, shouting "Shadow Bind," and conjuring his dark chains. The purple chains lash out, successfully ensnaring the demon's arms and torso. With his target bound, Makoto fires a black energy projectile directly at him. But the demon just laughs, completely unfazed by the chains or the incoming attack. A close-up reveals the projectile frozen in midair, caught effortlessly between his sharp fingertips. He deflects the attack with a single, brutal slash of his hand, red energy trailing behind. He stands unscathed as pieces of the projectile fall from his chest, smirking at his opponent. The demon looms over him, a malevolent red aura pulsing as he mocks Makoto's efforts. Makoto can only clench his fist, thinking, "Damn it, I am being completely toyed with." Nearby, the green-haired girl lies incapacitated on the ground, her eyes dazed and unfocused. A close-up on her bright teal eye reveals a sudden, shocking realization dawning on her. The demon unleashes another devastating blast, and as Makoto screams, a dark female figure manifests behind him. The hit connects brutally, red light emphasizing the sheer force of the blow to his face. Struggling on the ground, the green-haired girl reaches out, crying, "Makoto." But Makoto summons a dark, magical sword, a shadowy winged spirit now fueling his power. The winged spirit glares down with fierce focus, hovering directly behind her new partner, and now the girl understands. "I see, that is how it was. How could you make a pact with a demon?" Her world shatters as she laments, "I cannot trust anything anymore." The demon just laughs maniacally, delivering a powerful kick. "You are weak," he roars. Makoto is sent flying backward, his body arching from the strike. "You are so weak." The antagonist stands over him, gloating that no matter how much he struggles, it is all pointless. Makoto gasps for air, barely kneeling as he grips a sword pulsing with dark purple energy. He hangs his head, admitting to himself, "I know I am still weak, and I cannot compete with you." But then his hand tightens around the hilt of his blade, a vibrant gem glowing. But he rises to his feet, surrounded by swirling shadowy tendrils, shouting, "I refuse to give up." The green-haired girl bows her head, a memory surfacing from her past. A voice echoes in her mind, "If you give up here, you will truly lose everything." It was Makoto's voice. He once told her he felt despair when his parents were killed. He had explained that for survivors like them, a new path is always open ahead. With tears in his own eyes, he had begged her, "So we must never give up, we have to live." She remembers crying, his words offering a sliver of hope in her deep sorrow, and thanks to Makoto, she was able to look forward again. Now, seeing him grip that dark, glowing sword, she understands his resolve. He leaps through the air, but the enemy warns that just having high spirits is not enough. She glances at the glowing purple gemstone embedded in Makoto's skin. He is on his knees, wounded and bleeding, but he is not done yet. She realizes Makoto has always been like this, more straightforward and strong-hearted than anyone. Even if he made a pact with a demon, he is still Makoto. Nothing has changed. Finding her voice, she screams from across the cavern, "Do not give up, Makoto." Her words reach him, his face a mask of surprise and conflict. She smiles through her tears, her faith in him completely restored. "You can definitely do it." But the demon is not waiting for a touching reunion, lunging forward with a glowing blade. "Do not look away." Makoto stands his ground, blocking the massive dark strike in a bright clash of energy. His eyes widen, startled by the sheer gravity of the fight he is in. He feels a pang of guilt, remembering how he hurt Kazane, and yet, even after he had attacked her, She once again trusted him, pushing him forward when he needed it most. Fueled by her faith, a new power surges through him. I cannot die, he roars. He faces the demon, screaming his resolve. I cannot die here. The demon is stunned. His speed has increased, that is right, because now as a blur of purple energy streaks past, it is not just him, it is we. His eye is intensely focused as a shadowy blade slices past his face. Leaping into the air, he swings his weapon, shouting, "We are going to live and make it back." The resulting clash leaves deep, bleeding slash marks across the cavern wall. His boot hits the ground with a thud, landing perfectly after the high-speed exchange. Now Makoto and his winged companion stand together, ready for the final stand. The demonic opponent just grins, a sinister, bloody smile spreading across his face. Kazin can only watch in awe, whispering, "Incredible." The demon licks the blood from his lips. "To inflict a wound on me, kekek, this is amusing." A monstrous clawed hand looms forward, but it is almost time to end the fun. He conjures a swirling red sphere of pure destruction in his palm. "Let me show you something nice." Makoto is terrified. What the hell is that? This violent magical power is? The demon turns to the winged spirit. "Hey, fallen angel, here's your last chance. Come back to our side." He threatens them. "If you do, I might just let them go." "What do you say?" he presses. "You do not want to see your partner die, do you?" But Makoto's expression is calm, determined, and strangely confident. His winged companion shares his resolve, a subtle, knowing smile on her face. The winged woman Renoa answers with regal defiance. "Out of the question, we will not bow to demon." The demon sighs, the red sphere in his hand growing unstable. "I see, then die." He unleashes his ultimate attack, Doom of the Underworld, a massive pillar of destructive energy. Makoto and Renoa extend their wings, shielding themselves from the overwhelming onslaught. They are caught in a massive explosion, their dark barrier cracking under the immense pressure. Renoa looks up in shock as a completely new power enters the battlefield. A swirling blue portal is pierced and violently shattered by the torrent of magenta energy. The portal is torn to shreds by the overwhelming waves of demonic power. In the chaos, a hand gently pats Makoto's shoulder, leaving a glowing blue mark. What in the world? A tall, formidable figure now stands in the debris. "I will not let you snuff out the buds of a bright future." The newcomer casually introduces himself, a bottle in hand. "Amagi Yugo, want to play with me too, Majin?" He now stands between the injured kids and the horned demon, a clear line drawn in the sand. "Mr. Amagi?" Makoto asks, relieved. "You held out well," Yugo replies. "Now leave the rest to me." An immense golden aura explodes from him. Makoto is in awe. This is an S-rank hunter. Yugo prepares for combat, his golden aura intensifying as he mocks the monster. You look pretty strong yourself." He then smiles with absolute confidence, gesturing to himself. "Yeah, I get it. I am stronger than you." The demon's glowing yellow eyes narrow with lethal intent. "Oh," he snarls. A golden flame ignites in the air. "More than anything," Yugo declares, "I need to repay you for hurting my junior hunter." Behind him, the majestic spirit Nova appears. "Shall we do it, demon?" The demon lunges forward in a blur, his fist cocked back. I hope you're not just all talk." But his punch is met with a blinding flash of blue energy, sending debris flying. He lunges again with a glowing purple blade, but the blonde hunter is already moving. Amagi Yugo's hand clashes against the demon's fist, a bright flash radiating from the impact. He smiles calmly while stopping the attack cold. "Please do not touch my face, it is important for business." With a swift leg sweep, he sends the demon crashing toward a glowing blue portal. "You bastard!" The demon scowls as he is helplessly propelled through the swirling vortex. He tumbles out of another portal that suddenly opened in the air, completely disoriented. A golden blade of energy tears through the atmosphere, heading straight for him. The demon falls helplessly as Yugo stands below, glowing with power. The demon asks, stunned, as Yugo looks up with a menacing grin. "Welcome back." Yugo launches a powerful kick, connecting solidly with the demon's side in a massive flash of light. He follows up with a fluid, lethal slash, a trail of brilliant white light cutting through the darkness. The S-rank hunter wears a wicked, triumphant grin. It is confusing when your thoughts and your situation are different, right? From above, the demon is just a small, defeated figure lying on the ground. Makoto is stunned. Is not only divine power effective against demons? Renoa clarifies it is the power of divine spirits, and that man Amagi Yugo has that power wrapped around his entire body, an abnormal amount of it. Enraged and humiliated, the demon screams, "Damn it. Do not mess with me." He unleashes a massive, concentrated beam of pure chaotic energy, absolute darkness, but Yugo prepares his own counter, a spectral figure appearing behind him. Sky Piercer, the two immense powers collide, a golden beam of light piercing straight through the darkness in a blinding explosion. The horned demon Fane reaches out desperately as the golden energy rips him apart. With a simple, sharp snap of his fingers, Amagi detonates the attack. The resulting impact is a catastrophic explosion of golden energy and jagged red slashes. Fane gasps in agony, a grievous, blood-spurting wound torn clean across his torso. He collapses, Makoto thinking, too strong, he did not even move an inch against the demon. Amagi calmly taunts him. "It looks like you barely avoided it, but it's a fatal wound." He presses further, asking, "Why not use your abilities?" Fane clutches his chest, which glows with violent energy. Surrounded by a chaotic red aura, Fane screams in pure fury, "You bastard, I will kill you." He and another demon stand together, engulfed in swirling red magical energy, preparing for a final stand. A new, more powerful demon appears, looking down at the scene with cold calculation. He addresses his subordinate directly. "Fane, what the hell did you come here for?" Looking at Fane's injuries, he scolds him. You fool, you will die if you use that in your current state. His glowing red eye fixes on the S-rank hunter opposite him. He calmly assesses the situation. You are strong, but if we fight, neither of us will come out unharmed, right? Amagi just smiles slightly. I suppose so, you definitely look strong. The demon leader makes his decision. It is a draw, let us retreat for now. Fane is livid. It is not over yet. His leader stares him down with terrifying intensity. Why cannot you listen to what I say? Defeated and bleeding, Fane grits his teeth. Let us go. The demon leader stands triumphantly before his subordinates vanish into the shadows, but Fane gets the last word, pointing a clawed finger forward. I will definitely kill you all, prepare to lose your head. After the demons escape through a distorted, glowing rift, the cavern falls silent. Amagi Yugo stands with his back to the viewer, facing the exhausted heroes. Makoto, blood on his face, looks on in a daze while Kazin stares with wide-eyed trepidation. Did they just escape? Amagi muses before turning his attention to the kids. Makoto bows deeply in gratitude. Thank you for your help. You are welcome, Amagi says, ever casual. Shall we talk while heading back? As he leads them through the treacherous cavern, he gets straight to the point. He looks back holding his bottle. From the first time we met, you suspected I might have a contract with a demon. Amagi calmly confirms. That's right, I heard he was following you. He then turns to the two teens who look incredibly uneasy. More importantly, have you guys made up? Kazin looks at Makoto admitting, I realize that Makoto has not changed at all. She confronts Amagi, still hesitant. But whether I trust you or not is another matter, she says. Renoa, the winged spirit, just shrugs. Do as you wish. Amagi then explains that Renoa, a former spirit with demonic traits, is special. He smiles confidently. She will become a significant key, therefore I welcome you, including Makoto's humanity. Makoto looks up, surprised, a slight blush on his cheeks from the unexpected praise. Renoa and Kazin both stare at Makoto while Amagi observes their reactions. A close-up on Amagi's lips reveals a faint, enigmatic smile as if his plan is falling into place. Makoto clenches his fist, a golden light surrounding him as he makes his decision. Sounds great, Amagi's own golden aura surges. I look forward to the day we can fight side by side. Sometime later, Amagi is on his phone by a private jet reporting. It seems the demon will remain quiet for a while, Chairman. The chairman, a man with white hair, looks out over the city at night. It was the right decision to leave it to you. Amagi then shifts topics. By the way, do you remember the former rank hunter, Himuro Yusei? The chairman recalls the name. Of course, the notorious criminal who killed several hunters. He confirms the bad news. Yeah, we had him in custody, but he suddenly disappeared the other day. You really messed up, huh? Amagi sighs. I have another matter to attend to, so I cannot help you out instead. I'll recommend 2 promising hunters from my side. I'll send over the data. The chairman agrees and ends the call just as another young man enters his office. Sorry for keeping you waiting, he says to the visitor. The young man, Yusugi Aoji, sits stoically as the chairman looms over him. Now let's hear what you have to say. Yusugi Aoji is identified as an rank hunter and, more importantly, the former disciple of Himuro Yusei. Yusugi looks up, his blue eyes burning with intensity. I will definitely put a stop to his heinous acts. A flashback shows him on a high balcony with his mentor looking out over the city. A younger Yusugi had declared, Once I've become a hunter, I want to do my job perfectly. His mentor, Himuro, had scoffed at him. You're so stiff, I don't want a boring disciple. He had exclaimed with passion, if you've put the effort to become a hunter, you should enjoy it first. But Yusugi was firm, retorting that his first priority was his responsibilities. Himuro had told him to drop the stiff honorifics and loosen up. Looking over the city, his mentor had mused. You can become a hero just by killing demons, but the rules are such a pain. He then smiled, a cynical glint in his eye. Pursue your ideals, not perfection. Don't become a dog of that worthless association. Back in the present, Yusugi reflects on that memory. Then I absolutely cannot become like Master. The scene shifts to a serene, sparkling waterfront on a bright, clear day. Makoto and Kazin are jogging along a brick pathway trying to find some normalcy. They make awkward small talk about Renoa and flowers. She loves pretty things, Makoto explains. Kazin sits on a bench watching them, wondering just how many laps they plan on running. She then asks a pointed question. What else does she like besides flowers? Makoto gets flustered, gesturing nervously. Well, you'd have to ask her yourself. Kazin's eyes drift to the glowing purple crystal embedded in his hand, a symbol of her distrust. Makoto tries to bridge the gap. Cannot you be a little friendlier? After all, we are on the same team. But she immediately shuts him down. You are the one who said you do not trust us. I do not like that kind of attitude. Makoto tries to de-escalate, but Kazin cuts him off. Makoto, shut up. He looks down, defeated. Yes, he replies quietly. As they walk, they see the news on their phones. A criminal hunter has escaped from prison. Makoto asks, do you know about the escaped former hunter Kazin, Himuro Yusei? She wonders why such a highly skilled rank hunter would commit such a heinous crime. Suddenly, a smartphone vibrates inside a pocket, signaling an urgent notification. They both check their devices. An email from the association, Makoto asks. Kazin got one too. It is an emergency summons from the association for both of them. And it is a recommendation from Mr. Amagi. What on earth is going on? Anyway, let us head there for now. Their destination, the towering modern glass skyscraper of the Hunter Association headquarters. Inside, a man named Hayashi from the Abnormal Measures Division greets them formally. He explains that on Mr. Amaga's recommendation, they are being assigned the mission to hunt for Himuro Yusei. While the police are investigating, the Hunter Association insists on taking direct action as well. Hayashi reveals there is a strong chance Himuro is hiding inside a gate near the site of his escape. Their task is to infiltrate and investigate the C-rank gate. Do you have any questions? He asks. Makoto immediately voices his concern. Honestly, if it's just us against a former rank. Hayashi interrupts, informing them that a third person will be joining their team, an rank hunter. Just as he says he should be arriving shortly, the boots of the newcomer appear in the doorway. Kazin gasps in complete and utter surprise as she recognizes the man who enters. Yusugi. The blue-clad hunter looks at the team and calmly says, "It's been a while, Ryuka." Hayashi bows and excuses himself, leaving them with tablets containing the full mission details. The devices lie on the table, waiting for the newly formed team to review the intel. Ryuka or Kazane remarks that it has been a while since they cleared a gate together. She notes he is the only genius from their generation to reach a rank, and she is honored to work with him. Makoto stands to formally introduce himself. "I'm Makoto Asuka, pleased to meet you." Yusugi cuts him off, his introduction chillingly cold. "Yusugi Aoji, former disciple of Himuro Yusei." He holds up a hand, getting straight to the point with no room for pleasantries. He then drops a bombshell on the shocked pair. "I have no intention of teaming up with you too." Ryuka stands up, shouting in disbelief, "Why?" While Yusugi turns away, holding his tablet, he rejects them completely. "Honestly, you'd just be a hindrance. I don't need your help." Yusugi stares coldly, his thoughts clear. This is his personal burden, so he will hunt for Himuro alone. But as he turns to leave, Makoto and Ryuka jump up, desperately yelling for him to wait. Makoto pleads their case, insisting, "No, let us do it together. Three of us is definitely better." Yusugi does not even bother to face them, retorting, "I told you you'd only get in the way." He glances back, offering a compromise. "If we defeat the demons, you can just focus on the search." Makoto argues back that teaming up would be far more efficient than going it alone. But Yusugi stands like a stone wall, his profile rigid, completely refusing to change his mind. Makoto gestures wildly, reminding him, "We are hunters too, we cannot just ignore this, we will do our best." Yusugi lets out a heavy sigh, barely looking at them. "Fine, do as you please." He starts walking again, adding, "I will be doing what I want." Makoto scrambles. "Wait, we need a plan." Ryuka and Makoto are left standing there. He did not even listen. For now, let us just follow him. The scene shifts to a dark, abandoned building under a haunting full moon, its windows shattered and eerie. A rusted metal sign hangs by a chain, the Japanese characters clearly warning, "No entry." Inside, three young men explore with flashlights, one exclaiming, "This atmosphere is just, let us make this place our territory." They wander a dim corridor. "We can take a floor each." "Dude, this place is way too big for that." One of them peeks into a dark room, flashlight beam cutting the gloom, asking, "How many classrooms are in here?" His light reveals a massive, jagged, glowing blue structure erupting from the darkness. He whispers, "What is that thing?" It is a shimmering, crystalline object. A voice asks, "A gate, why is it covered in ice?" His friends are pale with shock. "We need to call the association, let the hunters handle this." The young man's eyes are wide with terror, sweat beading on his skin as he looks past his friends and asks, "Hey!" Before them, glowing blue spectral figures with sharp crystal bodies materialize, surrounding the terrified man. A flashlight clatters to the dark ground, its beam illuminating nothing as a blood-curdling scream echoes out. A lone figure now faces the crystalline entities, a gasp escaping their lips. You. Their face is lit by the intense blue glow, watching in horror as reality itself begins to crack around them. The figure stands amid swirling blue energy and flying crystal shards, a storm of destructive power unleashed. A person stands over a phone on the icy ground, thinking, "I need to hide better, more unnecessary corpses." The man sits with his back to us in a desolate room, a glowing blue structure looming ahead. I am not wrong. It is the former rank hunter, Himuro Yusei, his expression dark and determined. His first goal, revenge on the association. In stark contrast, the scene changes to a serene, lush forest path bathed in soft, ethereal green light. Our trio stands before a swirling, dark violet portal. Yusugi repeats himself. "Like I said, I'm doing things my own way." Makoto tries to stop him again. "Wait a minute, there's something I need to tell you first." He looks troubled, thinking to himself, "If we're going to work together, I have to tell him about Renoa's situation." But Yusugi cuts him off, already standing before a powerful purple aura. "About your demon contract, Mr. Amagi told me." Makoto is floored. "You're not going to condemn me for it?" he asks as leaves drift around them. Yusugi states his philosophy plainly. "A contract with a demon is not evil, only doing bad things is evil." Makoto is completely speechless, eyes wide with shock as a comforting hand rests on his shoulder. Ryuka walks beside him, smiling kindly. "See. Yusugi is not such a bad guy after all." A giant shadowy boot seems to step toward Makoto, a visual metaphor for the massive weight lifted from his soul. He clutches his chest, thinking, is there really someone who thinks that way about a demon contract? The scene shifts to a grand, ancient hallway lined with marble pillars and cobwebs leading to massive double doors. Inside a C-rank dungeon, Makoto and Ryuka face a colossal, multi-eyed white spider boss. The spider shrieks, its massive jaws dripping, as expected of a C-rank boss. "This will not be easy." They launch a coordinated assault, Ryuka firing crystal blades while Makoto maneuvers his dark sword into position. Suddenly, a gloved hand appears, glowing with an intense blue energy, channeling a powerful cold. Massive jagged ice spikes erupt from the ground, instantly encasing the white spider in a frozen prison. The battle is over in a flash. Ryuka and Makoto can only stare, completely overwhelmed by the sudden victory. The ice shatters as a cold voice cuts through the silence. How much longer will you waste on these weaklings? Sugi has arrived, his advanced spirit Yuki floating beside him. Makoto can only stammer, Yusugi. Yusugi casually remarks. Thanks, you saved me some time, the search here is done. He confirms there are no clues, so there is no reason for him to stay here any longer. Makoto is awestruck. So this is the power of an rank hunter, then groans, he is going off alone again. Ryuka stares after him, frustrated. Was he always this self-centered? She then turns to her companion. Wait, Makoto. Makoto, holding a purple gem, freezes. He realizes it. A new ability just awakened in that fight. Its name, Residual Shadow Sense. A spectral purple vision shows how it detects traces of shadows to locate a target. Makoto's expression becomes intensely focused, his eyes narrowing as he understands the power's potential. The ability can follow the footsteps of anyone who was here within the last 24 hours. That is perfect for this mission, he urgently calls out. Yusugi. With this ability, I might be able to find Himuro, you say. Makoto walks forward, asking for a starting point. Do you have any idea of a place that might be important? Yusugi stops, sharing a memory. There is a place where Himuro and I used to talk, a hill close to this gate. Makoto and Ryuka watch Yusugi's back as he walks away, a new plan finally set in motion. Ryuka asks, so he is telling us to follow, right? Her spirit sighs, so unfriendly. The trio stands on a path, overlooking a sprawling, futuristic city under a bright, sunny sky. They stand together at a wooden fence, gazing out at the impressive skyline. Yusugi thinks to himself, after Himuro committed that terrible act, I thought I'd never come here again. Makoto observes him, realizing, so this is a place filled with memories for Yusugi and Himuro. Yusugi, ever impatient, snaps. What are you doing? Use the ability already. Makoto nods. Got it. Makoto raises his hand, now glowing with dark purple energy, and declares, Residual Shadow Sense. Dark purple glowing shadow footprints materialize on the ground, trailing away from his boots. A massive translucent purple grid manifests around them, highlighting the area of his power. A close-up on Makoto's glowing purple eye. Someone was here recently, he remarks. He continues. Only one person, I can't tell who it is, but… Makoto reaches out, dark tendrils of shadow swirling around his hand. The shadow's characteristics. A dark ethereal shadow of a man looms over Yusugi, purple particles drifting through the air. In an extreme close-up of Yusugi's eye, a reflection of that same person is clearly visible. Yusugi looks at Makoto, his voice heavy. I see, so he came here. His thoughts drift. What were you thinking for coming here now? A flashback begins. A younger Yusugi stands on a bridge, asking, why does my mentor always bring me here? His mentor, Himuro, looks relaxed. You're just along for the ride. This is where I come for a break. Himuro looks over the city at sunset. Looking over the city like this, I feel free. It's a routine to shake off doubts. He playfully hits Yusugi on the back, telling him, make sure you do not live a boring life too. Himuro's voice echoes from the past. A life just bound to something or whatever. Back in the present, Yusugi looks down, somber. That is right. I learned so much from him. He shakes off the memory. It's nothing. Let us hurry and track down Himuro. Makoto confirms, right, I know his current location, let us go right away. The three figures walk across a rooftop plaza, their long shadows stretching across the ground. Yusugi is visibly troubled, thinking, Himuro probably shook off some doubts here, but what is his goal? The scene cuts to the Guild Association's Gate Management System department, glowing blue screens filled with data. An employee sits at her desk, surrounded by monitors, managing the complex gate systems. The woman, dark-haired and wearing glasses, stares at her terminal. Something feels off. Suddenly, realization hits her like a truck. She looks panicked, thinking, no way, if I remember correctly. She leaps from her chair, shouting to her colleagues, get me on the internal line now, hurry up. She frantically clicks a button on her headset, initiating the emergency connection. An urgent alert broadcasts through the headquarters. Announcement from Gate Management Department. Her voice rings out with authority. There is a risk of a gate break. All hunters begin searching immediately. The scene cuts to a figure rushing through a dense forest, a blur of motion. The trio is now running desperately, trying to cover ground as fast as they can. A smartphone buzzes intensely in a pocket, a notification demanding attention. Ryuka stares at her phone in shock. It is an emergency announcement from the association. The screen displays the chilling message, a gate has emerged at unknown coordinates requiring an immediate survey. Makoto stares at his own phone, sweating. If I remember correctly, it would take 7 days for a gate to break. Yusugi is grim. A gate break could happen right now, we have to find it. Makoto panics, but Himuro's traces. A close-up on Yusugi's eye shows intense focus as a horrible thought connects in his mind. He remembers Himuro's habit, touching his chin to fend off hesitation. Makoto's eyes widen in alarm as he puts it together. Do not tell me his goal is… Yusugi grabs Makoto's arm, his voice urgent. A gate break is Himuro's goal, please guide us as fast as you can. Makoto looks surprised but responds with steely determination, understood. They arrive at an ominous, desolate school building under a dark, unnatural purple sky. I see it. Makoto points, his body emanating a dark purple aura. The shadow is heading straight towards that school building. Yusugi's jaw is set, his gaze fixed on the target. Himuro is over there. At that exact moment, a terrifying surge of dark purple energy erupts from the school, bathing them in its chaotic light. The three heroes can only stand in the debris-covered grounds, shocked by the violent manifestation of power. The dark energy twists and expands violently, tearing through the atmosphere like jagged, shadowy tendrils. Makoto's eyes glow with purple power as he recognizes the cataclysm. This phenomenon is. Ryuka's eyes are wide with terror, whispering, I will never forget this view. A horrific vision flashes in her mind, a man in a doorway looking down at a person lying in a pool of blood. The vision splits, showing her terrified face on one side and a monstrous, grinning creature on the other. Back in the present, a vibrant purple diamond-shaped emblem glows on Makoto's hand, pulsing with dark energy. Ryuka's head is surrounded by a swirling, sharp-edged aura of brilliant green energy. The two stand ready for battle, wreathed in their respective powers. Makoto shouts, we have to stop them here. An explosive impact shatters the scene, a burst of white light and debris signaling the start of the battle. Makoto and Ryuka fight side by side, their glowing weapons clashing against a swarm of ferocious, glowing-eyed monsters. Makoto shouts orders. We need to stop the invasion, do not let them cause havoc. Ryuka strikes down a monster with her glowing blade, calling out, reinforcements should be here soon, hold them back. Meanwhile, Yusugi stands alone in a ruined corridor, completely surrounded by massive, snarling beasts. His hand surges with crackling blue mana as he prepares to unleash hell. Out of my way. He launches a massive, jagged ice attack, sharp crystalline shards tearing through the air to clear a path. He leaps off the freezing structures he just created, his own expression one of shock at the destruction. From below, a teammate spots his reckless move, shouting in surprise. Yusugi, Makoto grunts in pain as his weapon recoils, the sheer number of monsters taking a toll on him. He grits his teeth, thinking in frustration. He acts on his own again. Ryuka leaps gracefully through the air, her glowing green sword slicing through winged monsters above. The horde is a terrifying wall of darkness, all glowing red eyes and sharp fangs, and it just keeps coming. Makoto gasps, clutching his spear. Damn it, I will reach my limit soon. Suddenly, a blinding streak of orange fire rips across the battlefield, incinerating a line of monsters. Makoto follows up, striking the ground and releasing a massive shockwave of blue and orange energy. He looks over his shoulder, panting as other warriors finally arrive. Well done holding them back, we are joining in. Makoto is stunned by the sheer number of allies. That is such a large amount of reinforcement. With renewed intensity, he swings his dark weapon in a sweeping arc, thinking, I have to lift my own weight. But another hunter whispers, hey, I do not feel any mana from that guy. You are right, he is a wannabe hunter. Makoto overhears them. Not good, if I keep fighting they will start doubting me. But just then a massive glowing green tornado engulfs an entire section of the battlefield, crushing the monsters within. The whirlwind dissipates, revealing a pile of defeated creatures. Ryuka stands there, staff in hand, shouting, Makoto. Glowing green wings of energy, she strikes a pose in midair. Leave this place to me, go catch up with Yusugi. Makoto's eyes widen in surprise and gratitude. Thank you, Kazin. He immediately lunges forward with incredible speed, his dark aura trailing as he carves a path through the monsters. Dashing through a dark corridor, weapon gripped tight, he thinks. The gate must be this way then. He swings his weapon, unleashing a blue energy wave that smashes through a crystalline structure hiding a monster. He arrives in the gate chamber to find Yusugi standing amidst huge shards of shattered ice. Makoto looks on, concerned. Did he defeat the boss? He calls out, Yusugi. Yusugi's voice is flat. Himuro has left this place. His thoughts are bleak. Even if we stop the gate break, it is pointless. Yusugi looks down, utterly defeated. He will just try the same thing again. But Makoto's voice cuts through his despair, firm and serious. No, it's not pointless. Yusugi whirls around and grabs him, frustrated. You talk like you know something. Makoto looks him dead in the eye, his own eyes glowing with a dark violet aura. Did you forget how I got us here? Yusugi stares, realization dawning on his face as Makoto tells him, it's too early to give up, Makoto exclaims. Thanks to you defeating the boss, we can still catch up with him right away. Yusugi grabs Makoto's arm, pulling him along. We have to hurry before he gets too far. But this time Makoto takes the lead, running toward the exit with his fist clenched in determination. Yusugi looks surprised as Makoto firmly grabs his arm, pulling him forward instead. Makoto's gloved hand touches Yusugi's. He says simply, sorry. As they run, Yusugi's voice is filled with a newfound respect. Thank you, Asuka. Makoto flashes a confident smile. It is too early to thank me. Wait until this is all over. His expression is soft, but his determination is absolute. They dash across a neon purple gridded floor created by Makoto's power. Then let's end this swiftly. Their chase leads them to another large, ominous building under a dark purple night sky. They stop at a fence. The shadow is heading straight over there. Is not that the association system building? Makoto looks worried. If the system that manages the gates is destroyed, it would cause so many problems. They smash their way inside, finding a hole in a wall and glowing blue crystal shards scattered across the floor. A close-up shows Boots standing near the glowing, deadly debris. Himuro was here. They enter a corridor to a horrifying sight, large, jagged ice structures trapping people inside. Makoto is aghast. It seems we're late, the security hunters are, even the staff too. He watches Yusugi sprint down the corridor toward a massive blue ice barrier, calling his name in alarm. A man in a shirt and tie is frozen solid, his face a mask of terror inside a jagged ice crystal. The corridor is empty beyond the carnage, a doorway leading deeper into the dark facility. Inside, Himuro walks calmly toward a glowing, high-tech machine pedestal. He places a high-tech bomb on the floor nearby. With this, the association will be destroyed. Suddenly, sharp, glowing blue ice spikes are launched through the air, straight at him. Himuro's profile is a mask of pure shock as the attack comes from nowhere. Massive, jagged blue ice construct erupts from the floor, shattering and striking the area all around him. Yusugi stands at the end of the hall, energy radiating from his hand as he shouts his former master's name. Himuro. Sharp ice shards protrude from the floor as Himuro thinks. It's going so well. The antagonist turns, his eyes glowing with malice. Do not get in my way, Aoji. The two face off, master and disciple, a massive ice formation separating them in the cold, tiled space. Makoto charges forward, calling out, Yusugi, as he rushes toward the icy battlefield, but Yusugi stops him in his tracks, his hand glowing with lethal energy. Himuro, your crimes end here. Himuro just gestures calmly, a taunting smile on his face. Since you said that, then, a massive crystalline wall of blue ice erupts from the ground, blocking Makoto out completely. Yusugi himself recoils, shocked by the overwhelming power of the ice barrier. What? Himuro smiles. It's our long-awaited reunion. You do not want us to be disturbed either, right? Makoto slams against the ice, shouting in frustration. Damn it, you! Himuro ignores him, his focus entirely on his former student. So do not you want to kill me, Aoji? Yusugi glares, his eyes burning with resolve as he mutters. I cannot afford to be lenient with you. Himuro crushes small ice shards under his boot. You have not changed. He stands confidently as his high-ranked divine spirit flown manifests behind him. I'd be disappointed if you did not go all out. Yusugi stands ready, his own spectral figure floating at his back. He replies coldly, You do not need to tell me. Himuro holds up a small, glowing red device. You have one way to win, defeat me and destroy this. Yusugi understands instantly. If I try to buy time for reinforcements, I will definitely be killed. He prepares to unleash his full power, surrounded by floating, sharp shards of blue ice. A tight close-up on his eyes shows his unwavering determination. There is no other choice. I have to defeat him here. Yusugi unleashes a blinding storm of crystalline blades, a high-speed assault against his former master. An observer watching the fight remarks on his impressive growth. It is true that you have been getting better. But he trails off as Yusugi is instantly engulfed by a massive explosion of jagged blue ice. Yusugi's face contorts in shock, his mind screaming in alarm at the overwhelming power. The sheer velocity of the ice shards tears through the area, leaving trails of destruction. He's blasted off his feet, crashing to the floor as a colossal wall of ice spikes erupts from the ground. His thoughts race, realizing the grim truth. If we are fighting head-on, I will be at a disadvantage. Crouching low with his energy blades, he prepares his next move, but a voice cuts through the chaos. Then, a close-up on Himuro's mocking smile appears as he taunts his student. Who do you think taught you how to use that? Looming over the battlefield, he sneers. You know the answer, right, Aoji? Aoji grips his glowing blade, his body blurring as he prepares to strike back with impossible speed. He lunges forward, a sweeping arc of pure energy cutting through the air with a brilliant flash. Himuro's eyes widen in disbelief. A stray thought cuts through his shock. He threw it. He deflects the flying blade, thinking Aoji just made a rookie mistake. He is throwing away his advantage when wielding dual swords. Now cocky, Himuro calculates his next move. I just need to be careful of his left side. His eyes lock onto his former student, his expression hardening as he prepares to counter. But Aoji is already on him, a lightning-fast spinning slash forcing Himuro on the defensive. Himuro looks up, his smug confidence shattering. He already generated a new sword. The two warriors collide in a blinding explosion of light, their blades clashing with incredible force. Himuro lets out a frustrated grunt, swinging wildly while Aoji holds his ground, perfectly composed. The battle rages on, a rapid exchange of blows that fills the air with sparks and light. Aoji pulls back, analyzing his opponent. Such an interesting tactic he has, it's faster than my ice's regeneration speed. Himuro smirks, his voice dripping with condescending praise. Well done, Aoji, so this is how you fight. Aoji's eyes remain cold and focused. He thinks to himself, I'm not the person who you knew once. A flicker of hope crosses his face. It's working, I can do this. But Himuro's aura surges with blue energy. You better stop underestimating me, I'll show you my new skill. Suddenly, a massive hammer slams against a barrier, creating a brilliant explosion of icy light. Aoji stands with the heavy weapon, panting. Damn it, what the hell is this toughness? He stands tall, casting a long shadow over Himuro, who is now cornered against a wall of ice. The crystalline structure behind Himuro begins to vibrate and crack under immense pressure. From the ice, a figure of pure energy emerges, an alter ego. Your dual swords are quite troublesome, Himuro gloats. But it won't matter if you have to fight two of us. Aoji scoffs, completely unimpressed by the cheap trick. Nonsense, a mere doll won't be that strong. He launches himself forward in a blur, ready to test the strength of this new clone. His blade meets the alter ego's in a shower of sparks, his eyes narrowed in intense concentration. After the clash, the crystalline clone leaps away, giving them a moment to breathe. Himuro explains the rules of his new toy. You see, this guy moves independently at the same level as me. Well, he still can't use any skill, though. Aoji stares, sweat beading on his brow. So you have done a good job on that doll, haven't you? Himuro and his clone stand ready. With this, it's 2v1. It's too bad that you're alone without your friend. The reality of the situation hits Aoji. A clone. I have to hurry up. Because on the floor sits a ticking time bomb, its wires exposed, counting down to 0. The two-on-one assault is relentless, a whirlwind of glowing blue energy and razor-sharp ice. Aoji is locked in a desperate struggle, his face etched with strain. But still, an opening appears and Himuro strikes, drawing blood. You are full of openings, he mocks. Aoji cries out in pain as the blow lands, sending him stumbling back. He falls to one knee, wounded, surrounded by the glowing shards of his master's ice. The battle continues, a chaotic dance of red and blue energy slashes filling the air. Himuro smiles, his eyes glowing with a twisted amusement. It is rare for you to get this lively. Aoji looks up shaken, finally realizing the truth. The gap between us is this big. His face tightens with frustration and grief, a single desperate question echoing in his mind. Himuro stands over him, blades at the ready. Why do you commit such evil despite your extraordinary skills? But Aoji retorts sharply, his voice filled with an unshakable conviction. Commit evil, you are wrong. Kneeling amidst the broken battlefield, he explains. Nothing has changed ever since I met you. I am just being more honest to myself. He rants about a system where hunters are forced to sacrifice themselves. I am just fed up with that system. That is why I ignored those rules. As a result, I am terminated as a hunter, but that does not mean my ways are wrong. Aoji, horrified by this twisted logic, screams back at him. Yet you commit murders. Himuro glares coldly, completely unfazed. What is wrong about killing the hunters who only follow the association? You will not even care if a dog dies, right? The cruel words hit Aoji like a physical blow, and he gasps, clutching his chest. He stares at the cold, unfeeling crystals around him, his expression hardening with a terrible realization. Himuro stands triumphant, declaring his grand plan. With the ongoing gate break, the association will collapse. His face twists into a mask of manic glee, glowing with a venomous purple aura. The hunters will become free. This is my revenge. Aoji's voice rips through the air, a raw, furious scream of defiance. Bullshit. He grips his glowing blade, his voice trembling with rage. As expected, you have changed. Standing alone against his former master and his clone, Aoji makes a solemn vow. I will not let that happen. Sweat drips down his face as he points his jagged sword forward. As your former disciple, I will definitely stop you. Himuro grips his own weapon, his voice dripping with condescension. You can keep on barking. He gestures to the ice shards surrounding his student, but you are already trapped. Aoji looks down to see sharp crystals piercing his leg, pinning him to the ground. Since when? A close-up on his eye reveals the pure shock and dawning horror of his situation. Himuro stands over him, raising a massive, dark hammer for the final blow. Goodbye, Aoji. The reflection in Aoji's eyes shows the hammer descending, a promise of certain death. The hammer comes crashing down with an explosive impact, shattering the very ground beneath them. Aoji's eye is wide, watching the world-ending attack just moments from impact, but from the explosion erupts a powerful blast of purple energy charging right at Himuro. The mysterious attacker, shrouded in darkness, roars at the real target. Stop with that nonsense. Wielding a hammer of his own, he screams the villain's full name, Himuro Yusei. His hammer smashes through the remaining ice wall, shattering it into a million pieces. The dust settles to reveal Aoji's friend Asuka standing ready. Himuro calmly acknowledges him. Asuka, beads of sweat on his face, gives a confident thumbs up. It's okay, I know how to destroy the ice. The realization dawns on Aoji. This guy, he has been hitting the ice the whole time just to come here and help me. A small, determined smile plays on Asuka's lips as he prepares for the fight ahead. Himuro looms over the reunited pair, his tone mocking. You know how to destroy my ice, you say? He stands beside his glowing blue alter ego, sneering at them. Are not you just trash? Asuka clutches his side, wounded but resolute. Let us do this, Yusugi. Himuro grips his blade, his mind racing. Having Aoji as an opponent is already troublesome. Aoji, wielding a dark blade, forms a plan. I should start with him first. He launches himself at the alter ego, his blade clashing against the crystalline construct. Aoji stares down his former master, his voice unwavering. I will be the one who will defeat you. A frustrated escapes Himuro's lips, his face twisting in anger. He points at Asuka, shouting a single, brutal command to his clone, kill him, alter ego. A fierce, high-speed clash erupts as Asuka desperately fends off the alter ego's shifting blades. Aoji watches the exchange, analyzing the clone's movements. Its attacks are sharp, and it is undeniably strong, but Himuro's face is cast in a sinister shadow, his eyes glowing as a wicked grin spreads across his face. Aoji's focus never wavers, his resolve steeled. Yes, of course. The wounded Asuka struggles against the clone, clearly having a difficult time with its power. Himuro pins Asuka with two glowing blades, taunting Aoji from across the battlefield. Are you worried that your friend is about to be killed? He watches coldly, confident in his creation. It's impossible for that brat to defeat my alter ego. In a flash, Aoji strikes, his blade glowing with immense power as he lands a perfect hit. The alter ego's crystalline form shatters into a million pieces from the sheer force of the attack. Himuro stares in utter disbelief, a single stunned phrase escaping his lips. No way. Asuka can only watch in awe, his mind reeling. He did that so easily. Asuka stands victorious over the shattered remains of the alter ego, his hand glowing with dark energy. He glares at Himuro, his eyes glowing a menacing purple. "You're nothing compared to that demon." Aoji looks between his friend and his master, and everything clicks into place. "I see, it makes sense now." Himuro points an accusing finger at Asuka. You made a contract with a demon, did not you?" Asuka stares back, completely unfazed. "So what? Let me give you some advice." A sinister grin spreads across Himuro's face as he tries to tempt him. "Will you be able to enjoy a life hiding your contract with a demon?" For a moment, Asuka looks shaken, a single drop of sweat trailing down his cheek. Himuro's voice rises, his gestures becoming wild. "This world will treat you unfairly. Come with me and let us change the world together." A heavy silence falls between the three men, the offer hanging in the cold, blue air. Aoji stands by his friend, pointing his crystal blade at his former master. "It is just as what Asuka said, you are the evil that needs to be slain." With his twin blades at his side, Aoji prepares to unleash a storm of energy. Himuro looks down at them, his voice cold and menacing. "Do you want to die that much, brats?" He stomps his foot, shattering the ground as a shockwave of blue energy erupts outwards. Aoji meets him head-on, their weapons clashing in a blinding explosion of blue light. Asuka blocks a blow from Himuro, chains wrapping around his arm as he grits his teeth. But he did not expect Himuro to reveal his true power, a swirling vortex of dark energy with a single golden eye staring out from the abyss. A jagged explosion of white and blue light rips through the battlefield with a deafening roar. The two heroes trade blows with the empowered Himuro, filling the air with arcs of glowing light. But Asuka is reeling, his face contorted in agony as he tries to hold back Himuro's massive blade. Aoji lands a heavy blow, sending a burst of light across the room. Himuro falls to his knees, choking out a pained grunt. Asuka pants, trying to catch his breath. His moves are in a completely different way compared to the clone. His purple eye widens in shock as he processes his opponent's new, unpredictable fighting style. Crouching low, he extends a hand, shouting the name of his skill, Shadow Search. A ghostly purple afterimage of Himuro is revealed, his every move tracked by the dark energy. The afterimages shift and flow, showing the exact trajectory of his next devastating attack. Asuka realizes the skill's potential. "I can see the trajectory if I could just share this vision with Yusugi." A feminine voice echoes in his mind. "It is possible for a brief time. Use your mana on his eyes." He immediately complies. "Cast Shadow Search to Yusugi." Aoji's eyes flash, and he grips his dual blades with a newfound, deadly determination. A close-up on his eye reveals it glowing with blue energy, his perception now magically enhanced. He now sees what Asuka sees, Himuro's movements outlined in purple. "I can see his movements now." Himuro lunges, but Aoji perfectly anticipates the path of his massive blade. The downward strike cuts through the air, but Aoji is already moving to counter. He meets the attack head-on, blue energy sparking at the point of impact. They exchange a flurry of blows, but with his enhanced vision, Aoji tracks every single strike. Himuro's eye widens in disbelief. "What? He's suddenly starting to read my movements." Aoji deflects another strike, and Himuro lets out a silent, frustrated curse. His hand crackles with intense blue energy as he prepares for a desperate final gamble. He distances himself, his voice a low growl. "Do not get carried away." Aoji watches him, knowing what is coming. So he's planning to determine the ending of this battle through brute force. Himuro's eyes go wide with manic determination as he bellows. "I will finish you off with my ultimate move." Aoji and Asuka charge forward in a desperate attempt to stop him. "As if we'd allow you to do that." But they are too slow, their feet scattering ice shards as they race across the frozen ground. A colossal glowing blue ice dragon materializes in a blinding flash, and Himuro shouts its name with glee. The spectral beast descends, its glowing eyes fixed on the two heroes below. It unleashes a devastating blast of pure energy from its maw, engulfing the entire area. The dragon's head emerges from the freezing mist, the air filled with the sound of shattering ice. A pillar of white energy crashes down, pulverizing everything in its path with overwhelming force. The aftermath is a swirling vortex of snow and magic, a blinding blizzard obscuring everything from view. As the energy dissipates, the air clears, revealing a calm and empty battlefield. Himuro lets out a sigh of relief, his shoulders slumping as he exhales. This is finally over. He takes a single step forward, his boot landing on the smooth, reflective ice. A skill prompt appears, revealing the hero's true plan. "We can know clearly that you will not move from that place." In an instant, two blue-haired attackers appear on either side of Himuro, blades pressed against him. His face contorts in pure shock and confusion. "Since when were you?" They strike with lethal precision, their blades slashing across his body in a spray of crimson. Two strange, rectangular devices are ejected from the wounds in his chest, clattering to the floor. Himuro collapses forward, blood spilling from his mouth as his vision fades to black. Aoji steps in, catching his falling master and holding him steady as he goes limp. Droplets of blood hit the icy floor, staining the pristine surface and marking the end of the fight. Aoji remembers a simpler time. "I liked your way of thinking and your freedom. I have longed for the same because I did not have that in me." He looks down at the man in his arms, his voice filled with sorrow. "But you chose the wrong path." He holds him close, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. "This is the end, master." He knows that in this world there is no human who could avoid making mistakes. Even a hunter as powerful and brilliant as Himuro is the same. Hand clutches a glowing purple crystal, dark energy swirling around it. But even so, Asuka stands with his ethereal partner Renoa, his resolve firm. He has to keep on the path they see as the right one. The scene shifts to a sterile, multi-story building under a full moon. The gate breaks center. Someone scrolls through a news article on their phone, the headline confirming the location. An unseen voice explains the situation. Soon, the association will come here and take Himuro into custody. Himuro sits on the ground, defeated, the glowing ice still embedded in his body. I could not win alone. Asuka looks at Aoji, admitting, without your help it would most likely have ended with my loss. Aoji smiles, his voice filled with gratitude. I owe you, Asuka. The two friends shake hands, a silent acknowledgement of the bond forged in battle. Outside the building, a new presence approaches under the cover of darkness. Two men in suits flank Himuro, securing him in glowing blue restraints as he is taken into custody. The association officials bow deeply to the two heroes. We have secured Himuro, thank you for your work. Asuka turns to Aoji, ready to leave. Then we also have to go back, but a hand suddenly clamps down on his collar from behind, stopping him cold. He looks up in shock, his eyes wide as his name is called out, Asuka Makoto. A figure in white confronts him, their voice ringing with authority. There is a suspicion on you regarding involvement with a demon. A man with blonde hair and glasses issues a cold command, you have to come with us. Asuka is taken to a massive, imposing glass skyscraper, the headquarters of the Hunters Association. His hands are bound behind his back in glowing yellow cuffs, marking him as a high-risk prisoner. He is escorted down a sterile white hallway by two silent guards, deeper into the heart of the facility. He asks where they are going. The guard replies, to the conference room to decide what we will do for you. A memory of him wielding his dark, shadowy blade flashes in his mind. Them seeing me like that yesterday will not end well for me. A guard opens a pair of large wooden doors, his voice firm. Over here, you should mind your manners. Asuka enters the room, a bandage on his face, his body tense with apprehension. Inside, four of the association's most powerful figures sit around a glowing digital table watching him. The chairman, Amagi, gives a playful wave, a stark contrast to the stern-faced man beside him. The division chief, Niyama Renji, stands behind a man with a glowing eye and an intense aura. The doors shut behind him, sealing him in. Then the conference for that abnormal situation shall start now. The table displays a grainy, holographic video of Asuka in the heat of battle using his forbidden power. The main topic of discussion is clear, Asuka Makoto's involvement with a demon. Niyama Renji adjusts his glasses, his voice cold and clinical. We will take measurements by evaluating his situation. In the reflection of his glasses, Asuka stands alone, the subject of their intense scrutiny. The question is asked direct and damning. Is it true that you have a contract with a demon? Asuka knows he is trapped. He's asking me this question despite being certain lying will only be a disadvantage for me. He takes a breath, his voice steady as he makes his choice. It is true. Renoa, come out. A woman with large, dark feathered wings and a gothic dress materializes beside him, the demon Renoa in the flesh. The council stares in shock at the summoned demon, a humanoid one at that. One man radiating pure rage slams his fist on the table. A demon in a Majin. His hand glows with menacing red energy as he points at them. I will erase your existence right now. Asuka leaps in front of his partner, screaming her name in a panic. Renoa. The man's hand clenches, crackling with destructive power, ready to unleash hell. A magical portal erupts, firing a devastating beam of energy straight for the two of them. But another hand with a glowing blue crystal gestures calmly. You're hasty as usual. A composed man named Tsubasa casually halts the attack. The discussion has just started, you know. Tsubasa points a finger at the hothead Amagi. Should I start by erasing you instead? With the tantrum over, Tsubasa refocuses the room. Now, Asuka Makoto, start with your explanation. Asuka stands firm, making a critical distinction. Renoa is not a Majin, she is a fallen divine spirit. The men look baffled, a divine spirit becoming a demon, that sounds completely unbelievable. Behind Tsubasa, a glowing, ethereal woman named Nova appears, looking serene and wise. Tsubasa gestures to his own spirit. Nova, perhaps you could explain it to everyone. Nova's gentle voice fills the room, confirming the tale of an angel who fell and became a demon. As her form fades, Tsubasa gives a small smile. Thank you for the explanation, Nova. He turns back to the council, his hand glowing with power. So is there any reason to debate this further? Amagi is not having it, his eyes glowing fiercely. She's still a demon, killing them is our job. A stern man in a white coat interjects, demanding the full story. How did she become a demon? Answer me. Asuka and Renoa stand in the shadows, ready to face the next round of intense interrogation. Renoa speaks, her voice firm. I cannot answer you, I am a demon and that is all I can say. A hand slams down on the table with furious, crackling energy. Someone is not pleased. The red-haired man glares, shouting, you are underestimating us humans, are not you? Asuka jumps to her defense, his voice filled with urgency. Renoa is not a dangerous demon. The man in the lab coat adjusts his glasses, skeptical. And can you guarantee that claim? Asuka stammers, his confidence completely shattered. That is. He looks at the hostile faces, desperately wondering how he can possibly convince them. His purple eyes widen with fear as he thinks, at this rate, they will kill her. Suddenly, a white shoe steps into the frame, surrounded by glowing pink flower petals. A pink-haired woman strolls in, casually apologizing for her tardiness. She giggles, covering her mouth. I fell asleep twice because my bed was so comfortable, Tilda. The researcher scolds her. Heimji, even S ranks are expected to be on time. Heimji just shrugs, then complain to the bed instead. Tilda, so what is the topic? The researcher points to Asuka. How to deal with him, the one with a demon contract. Haimji pauses, touching her chin. By the way, who are the two people standing outside the door? The room goes dead silent. The researcher and the red-haired man are completely stunned. What? The blonde man, Tsubasa, just smiles. Nice one, Haimji, now I have my chance. The door swings open with a forceful command. Come in, you two. A man in a blue uniform and a green-haired woman step into the tense meeting room. The three council members stare at the newcomers, their expressions grim and watchful. Asuka looks back, completely startled to see his friends. Kazane, Yusugi. Tsubasa explains to the chairman that these outsiders are also deeply involved in the case. The stern, bearded chairman remains silent, his face unreadable as he processes this new development. He finally speaks, his voice grave. I will allow their presence to hear their opinion. The two newcomers stand with Asuka and Renoa, a small united front against the council. Asuka panics internally. If they defend him, they could be punished too. The man in blue, Yusugi, speaks first. It was impossible to stop Himuro without Asuka and that demon. The tension in the room is so thick you could cut it with a knife, emphasized by a clenching fist. The green-haired woman, Kazane, adds her testimony. She helped us fight Majin. She cannot be dangerous. They stand before the highest authorities, their plea echoing in the silent room. I beg for your consideration. Their words hang in the air. They both fought bravely. Could you please believe us? Asuka watches them, his face a mask of determination, hoping their words are enough. The man in the lab coat is intrigued. Furuka Kazane, who hates demons, to say this much. The chairman considers this new evidence. It proves she is not dangerous now, but the future is uncertain. Tsubasa sees his opening, asking slyly, do not you think they have the potential to save the world? The red-haired man scoffs at the idealism, but then adds, is not it our job to fix things if they betray us? Tsubasa makes a bold declaration, staring down the entire room. If that happens, I'd take the responsibility. The red-haired man glares intensely while Asuka looks on, unsettled by the harsh atmosphere. Tsubasa smiles coldly, his tone ruthless. I believe in their potential to annihilate the demons. The verdict is symbolized by glowing golden shackles binding two hands together. A new contract is formed. Asuka feels the weight of his friend's faith. He cannot let their efforts be wasted. A hand rests near a glowing blue surface, the simple watch on the wrist ticking down the seconds. The chairman calls the question. Anyone who wants disciplinary action, raise your hand. The man with the reddish-brown hair and face tattoo immediately raises his hand, his expression firm. The man in the lab coat follows suit, his face calm and composed as he casts his vote. But Haimji and the blonde S-ranker just watch, looking completely amused by the drama. The red-haired man, Yugo, is furious. Not only Amagi, but you too, Haimji. He slams his fist on the table, demanding a decision. What is your verdict, Chairman? The chairman sits with his arms crossed, an imposing and silent figure illuminated by the table's glow. His eyes are narrowed, his expression severe as he weighs the fate of the boy and the demon. Makoto and Renoa stand in an ominous aura, bracing themselves for the final judgment. The chairman's hand, a blue gem glowing on his glove, moves. Before that, he points directly at the pair. I want to hear their intentions. After that, I will give my decision. His gaze locks onto Renoa. First, why did you make a contract with him? A tight shot on Renoa's face shows her composure as she prepares to answer the heavy question. She takes a small step forward, her dark, lace-up heels clicking softly on the floor. Her expression is resolute as she explains. I wanted to help Makoto, whose heart was suffering. Her eyes are sincere as she makes a vow. Demons are enemies for me too. I want to defeat them with Makoto. The chairman listens, his face a mixture of skepticism and contemplation, then turns. Asuka, Makoto, do you have anything to say? Makoto stands tall, his expression stoic, ready to speak his truth and face the consequences. His voice rings with conviction, starting with a powerful declaration. I do not want. A painful memory flashes by, a lifeless, bloodied figure. To let anyone, he sees them trapped behind crystalline shards, to lose their lives unfairly. His hands glow with ethereal energy as he finishes. For that reason, I will fight the demons. He looks the chairman in the eye. That is why. Please use us for the sake of the world. Haimji and Amagi watch the passionate display, their expressions unreadable but focused. The council members have heard enough. Their minds are made up. The conclusion is clear. The chairman stands, his arms crossed, and delivers the verdict. They are to be overseered by the association. Makoto and Renoa stand together, their faces serious as they accept the judgment. Haimji looks concerned, the researcher stoic, and Tsubasa offers a slight knowing smile. Yusugi and Kazane look at each other, a silent exchange of surprise and relief passing between them. Yugo explodes with anger, shouting at the chairman. What, are you sure, old man? His fist is clenched so tightly it trembles, a single drop of sweat betraying his rage. He clutches his chest, completely baffled. I cannot accept it without a good reason. The chairman looks back, his expression cold and utterly unimpressed by the outburst. He sees their value, he muses, but that is not the only reason for his decision. A close-up of Makoto's glowing purple eye reflects the chairman's thoughts. I did not see any lies in his eyes. The chairman's voice is firm. Despite the uncertainty, I have not grown soft as you think. Yugo can only grimace, letting out a frustrated, he relents. No one can fool your eyes, then tell us the conditions, chairman. The chairman's gloved hand gestures as he begins. There are demons we can still communicate with. The conditions are laid out. First, provide all possible information regarding the demons, and second, he must build achievements and win their trust through his actions. Makoto's eyes light up with fierce determination. Of course, he bows his head, his voice filled with gratitude. Thank you very much. The chairman wastes no time. Then, effective immediately, tell us everything you know. Makoto turns to his friends. Because of the secrecy, I will need Ruka and Yusugi to leave. Chairman admits their current intel is severely limited. They are flying blind. The first topic is the Majins. They need information on their powers and numbers. The debriefing begins, the room cast in the dim glow of the holographic table. Rinoa reveals the shocking truth. As far as I know, there are around 100 of them. Makoto cannot believe it. 100 of them at that level? No way, she continues. Probably dozens of them are at least as strong as that man or even stronger. Amagi flexes, confident, while Heimji notes that this is in fact very bad for them. Rinoa then reveals an even greater threat, a being that leads them all, a king of demons. The chairman processes the news, a demon king. This is crucial information. He asks how she knows all this. Rinoa's story begins. After I fell into the demon's world. A flashback shows her kneeling in a dark wasteland, invited to join the demon ranks. She looks haunted, admitting, I was overwhelmed by their sheer numbers. She managed to escape their brainwashing at the last moment, flying through a nightmarish landscape. The chairman presses for the most critical detail. What is their goal? Why are they invading? Rinoa explains that demons have the same basic needs as humans, like food and sleep, but they also have a primal, sinister instinct to invade and to dominate everything. The researcher looks troubled. If that is the case, we do not have anything to counter that. But the Majins, Rinoa clarifies, possess intelligence and reason on top of their instincts. This means their king must have another, more specific goal in mind for this invasion. Yugo listens with an intense gaze, processing the gravity of this new information. Rinoa admits that sadly she does not know the details of the king's ultimate plan. Yugo clenches his fists, his voice full of aggressive determination. Good, I will destroy all of his plots. Heimji just smiles, musing that if their reasons are trivial it will be interesting. Amagi agrees, finding the idea of fighting an intelligent king much more fun than mindless beasts. The chairman thanks Rinoa, noting they may summon her again for more information. A fist clenches, the blue gem on the glove glowing with firm resolution. The chairman stares ahead, his expression hardened. Our goal is still the same. The entire room is united in this purpose. We will continue to fight against the demons. He then orders Makoto to be detained and monitored inside the association for his own safety. He warns him that rumors of his contract will spread and to expect slander from other hunters. Makoto is not fazed, he is used to being looked down on. His resolve is set, it is time to start gathering achievements and proving his worth. But there is one small problem, you are an F-rank hunter, right? The next evaluation is still quite far. The researcher looks at the chairman, completely shocked. I did not expect you to do this. The chairman is practically buzzing with energy. After listening to that, I got quite fired up. He points directly at Makoto, a wild look in his eyes. I will give you a special re-evaluation myself. Makoto can only stare back, utterly speechless at this sudden, aggressive turn of events. The others just laugh. It is finally here, the chairman's bad habit. Heimji pities the poor boy. Yugo grins at Makoto, taunting him. You are dead, boy. Makoto is completely lost. The chairman suddenly grabs Makoto and physically drags him away. The meeting is over, to the training hall. In a vast arena, the chairman discards his jacket, ready for a serious confrontation. His expression is dead serious. Since it is a special case, fight me and show me your true strength. Makoto, clutching a glowing purple object, cannot believe what he is hearing. Fighting you, chairman. The chairman's hand glows gold as he reassures him. I will hold myself back to around 10-20%, I guess. Behind him, a massive spectral knight manifests, his divine spirit Yulan. Makoto feels its immense pressure, realizing this spirit is on par with an S-ranks. The two face off in the center of the arena as the others settle in to watch the show. The chairman takes a seat looking at his opponent. All right, I wonder how strong you are, Makoto. Then he delivers a terrifying ultimatum. In case you cannot land a single hit on me. His face is cold and his tone absolute as he finishes the threat. I will have you quit as a hunter. The battle begins instantly as the chairman charges, his golden sword a blur of light. Makoto is still in shock, his eyes wide with anxiety. Hey, wait, please stop joking. But the fight has already begun, the sound of their footwork echoing in the empty arena. The chairman appears behind him, his voice cold. I do not like to tell meaningless jokes here. Makoto's purple eye widens in pure shock as the reality of the situation sinks in. With a single swing of his golden blade, the chairman rips the entire floor apart. The impact is immense, sending chunks of debris flying everywhere from the overwhelming force. Makoto kneels, breathless after barely blocking the strike. What a heavy attack! The chairman grips his weapon, his voice like steel. You said you would deliver us results. He looms over the boy, his expression demanding. Are you saying those words were merely lies? Makoto gets to his feet, gripping his shadow sword, preparing to continue the impossible fight. He stares at his own trembling hands. My hands feel numb and he is going easy on me. Surrounded by a golden aura, the chairman goads him. What is wrong? Do not hesitate and come at me. Makoto's jaw sets in grim determination, his face shadowed with intensity. He lunges forward, his hand outstretched and enveloped in dark, shadow-like energy. He unleashes his skill, shouting, Shadow Bind, as dark chains erupt to trap the chairman's weapon. The chairman looks at his ensnared weapon and chuckles. So you do have a skill. Makoto leaps into the air, seeing his one and only opening. He cannot stop my sword now. A blade of pure shadow materializes from his hand, pulsing with ominous purple energy. He swings his dark blade down, only for the chairman to reach up with his free hand to intercept it. The chairman looks down on him dismissively. Your attack is shallow. Makoto holds his glowing blade, his fingers tight on the hilt, hearing the warning, if you do not plan on going all out. The chairman effortlessly deflects the strike with his golden weapon, sending Makoto tumbling across the floor. Makoto hits the ground hard, crying out in pain from the sheer force of the blow. The old man looms over him, completely unimpressed. You will not be able to land a hit on me. On the floor, Makoto feels utterly outmatched. Damn it. He laments, staring up at his opponent. The chairman swings his massive weapon again, yelling aggressively. All right, anything else to show me, Makoto? Makoto stares in disbelief, his mind reeling. Is he a monster? Elsewhere, a hand is seen holding a familiar green bottle of sake. In the stands, Amagi takes a deep gulp from the bottle, clearly enjoying the show. The S-ranks chat casually, with Haimji fondly recalling how the chairman also beat her up badly. Back in the arena, the two fighters are positioned at opposite ends, the tension palpable. Makoto grips his blade, his mind racing. I have to land one hit, but how? The chairman turns, a calm expression on his face. I see, I guess I should start attacking now. A sweeping energy attack tears across the arena, cracking the very tiles beneath their feet. The chairman initiates a brutally fast strike, forcing Makoto into a desperate defensive crouch. His gloved hands grip the hilt of his golden weapon, preparing to unleash a devastating blow. Makoto desperately parries as a massive, blinding arc of pure energy crashes down on him. His face is a mask of sheer terror as he screams internally, I cannot block that attack. The scale of the attack is immense, completely dwarfing Makoto and his small shadow sword. He moves with desperate agility, his expression one of sharp focus as he tries to evade the lethal strike. The spectators note that the chairman made the swing huge on purpose, so it is still dodgeable. The chairman wears a wild, exhilarated grin. Not a bad reaction, let us keep up that pace. The chairman unleashes a blinding flurry of attacks, his luminous blade slashing through the air. Makoto feels the pressure, thinking, his attacks are heavy and consecutive. The old man presses on, shouting, if you are only going to dodge, you will never defeat me, Makoto. A close-up on Makoto's purple eye reveals his laser-sharp focus on the incoming onslaught. He leaps high into the air, narrowly dodging a devastating horizontal swing from the golden blade. Midair, Makoto summons a dark, shadowy energy around his hand, declaring, Shadow Weapon. The chairman looks up, his expression guarded, ready to counter whatever Makoto has planned. Makoto launches his attack from above, causing a massive explosion of white and purple energy. From the sidelines, a man with a pompadour smiles. Wow, it is getting interesting. Makoto lands gracefully, his mind racing with a single thought, did I hit him? The smoke clears, revealing the chairman completely unscathed behind a massive golden shield. Makoto stares in disbelief, asking, when did you pull out a shield? The chairman just grins. The chairman's hands glow with golden energy as he prepares to reveal even more of his power. In a fluid motion, the golden shield dissolves, reforming into a long, ornate golden spear. Makoto watches the weapon change, realizing, a spear after a shield, this is. The chairman explains his divine skill. Armory, I can change my weapons as I like. Makoto sees ethereal weapons floating around him, knowing none are at a normal level. Spectators identify the chairman's divine spirit as the god of weapons, Yulin, granting him heroic arms. The man with the pompadour confirms it. He is the strongest in hand-to-hand combat. Gripping his spear, the chairman declares with a grin, then let the second round begin. Makoto braces himself, knowing that using a gun against a spearman would be incredibly risky. The chairman notes Makoto's power, saying it seems like a materialization skill similar to his own. He taunts his opponent. Interesting, show me how you will fight against my armory. The chairman lunges forward, his spear glowing as he unleashes a massive, sweeping strike. Makoto is completely overwhelmed, thinking, not only is his reach long, but this power too. His face shows pure shock and panic as he realizes the overwhelming danger he is in. He desperately dodges a volley of sharp, materialized blades that slice through the air around him. The chairman reveals he can use his armory to create floating, autonomous weapons as well. Makoto looks on, exhausted and completely overwhelmed by the relentless barrage of attacks. A massive glowing mace is launched directly at him, forcing a last-second, desperate reaction. The blunt weapon slams into the ground, creating a blinding shockwave of light and debris. Amidst the chaos, Makoto moves like a blur, trying to find any possible opening. He leaps high into the air just as the chairman unleashes another wide, sweeping attack below. Energy swirls around Makoto's gloved hand, indicating he is activating his own materialization power. The chairman prepares a devastating combo, his spear surrounded by a spiral of glowing blades. Makoto, now wielding his own dark blade, tenses up with fierce determination for the coming clash. The spectators watch the intense duel, completely captivated by the display of skill and power. A smug-looking blonde man remarks, as expected, the chairman is a good instructor. A violent clash of weapons erupts in a blinding flash of intersecting light and energy. Makoto is left panting heavily, his clothes torn, but he remains standing with his dark blade. The chairman stands ready, gripping his glowing golden spear, a picture of calm and deadly focus. Makoto finally understands his opponent's combat style, a realization his spirit companion confirms. Observers note that the chairman is purposefully putting Makoto in a difficult situation to test him. With a heavy thud, Makoto slams his foot down on the floor ready to make his move. The chairman lunges with incredible speed, challenging him. What will you do now? Makoto thinks about weapon advantages, countering the chairman's spear with one of his own. The chairman acknowledges his strategy. I see a spear would be advantageous against a swordsman, but he warns, that will not be enough, as his golden spear emits a blinding light. Makoto focuses his dark energy, cupping his hands around the crackling aura as he shouts. Now, the two clash in a blur of motion, golden light and dark energy colliding at high speed. A close-up of the chairman's eye reveals his sharp, almost menacing focus in the heat of battle. Makoto crouches low, gripping his glowing purple blade, fully prepared to counter the next move. The chairman swings his long spear, and Makoto is forced to parry the massive attack. Two spectators watch from the stands, their faces masks of pure shock and absolute awe. The chairman stands with his shirt ripped, recovering from the intense close-quarters exchange. An observer analyzes the fight, noting how Makoto meticulously utilized the time lag of the chairman's skill. Makoto can only stand there, panting heavily, completely out of breath from the effort. He sees his chance and punches forward, his fist making solid contact with the chairman. The narrator explains that using a long spear against a close-range enemy is extremely difficult. Makoto struck true, and the chairman admits, "You aimed for that small gap and landed a blow." The chairman smiles, announcing, "Well done, with this your examination is over." Makoto looks completely stunned, his eyes wide with shock as he struggles to process the news. The old man laughs heartily at the exhausted boy. "Ha ha ha, good work." Makoto catches his breath, sweat beading on his skin, the adrenaline slowly leaving his system. He realizes the chairman was guiding him the whole time, pushing him to overcome the challenge. The chairman pats him on the head, praising him. "Your movements are good and you use that head of yours well." But he adds a critique, "The application of your mana is still lacking." The chairman then delivers his final judgment. "Improve yourself, I will give you a B rank now." Makoto is floored, thinking, "I became a B rank from an F rank in this instant." Filled with a new sense of purpose, he shouts with fierce determination. Yes, the blonde man Amagi appears in a portal behind him. "It was a thorough evaluation, Makoto." An observer stretches, thinking to himself that Makoto is still nowhere near his level. Makoto clenches his glowing fist, knowing he is still far from reaching these powerful people. He looks up at the stoic blonde warrior with a serious, pleading expression and calls his name. With burning resolve, Makoto begs, "Please train me, I want to become stronger." He bows deeply in a show of profound respect, declaring, "I am looking for your guidance." Amagi's mouth curls into a subtle, knowing smirk. This was exactly what he expected. He points a finger at the surprised Makoto. "I was already thinking about training you before." Amagi smiles warmly. "Let us do it. I am looking forward to the day you overcome my expectations." The scene shifts to a massive, modern office building, symbolizing the new heights Makoto will climb. In a lounge, Amagi and his spirit sit across from Makoto and his own angelic companion, Rinoa. Amagi suggests a training method he once used, a way to deepen the bond with a spirit. A diagram explains that understanding the hunter-spirit connection unlocks far greater power. Makoto is skeptical, gesturing to Rinoa and asking, "Is that even possible with me and her?" Amagi explains that as long as their contract stone exists, it is theoretically possible. He points out the core of the issue, stating, "Rinoa has a massive mana pool," but he continues, "She cannot provide it to you properly right now." Amagi promises that once they pass this training, Makoto will be unbelievably stronger than before. Makoto nods respectfully, completely on board. "Understood, I am looking forward to your guidance." Amagi holds up his hand, revealing the glowing stone as he prepares to give the instructions, and the grand training method is, hold your hands together while conquering a dungeon. Makoto and Rinoa are both completely stunned by this incredibly awkward assignment. The next day, they find themselves standing at the entrance of an F-rank dungeon. Inside the dark cavern, they are already holding hands, their expressions dead serious. The vast, ominous dungeon makes the two of them look incredibly small and vulnerable. Makoto asks Rinoa if this is weird for her. She coolly replies it is nothing to be embarrassed about. The rules are simple, no matter what, they must keep holding hands and not speak during fights. They have to do this all the way from F-rank to C-rank dungeons. Makoto is very doubtful. Rinoa, ever the professional, takes charge and firmly points the way forward into the darkness. Almost immediately, they are confronted by a swarm of monstrous spiked bat creatures. Makoto, the cautious fighter, thinks to himself, "I have to start with observation." But Rinoa, the aggressive one, gets them both hit while they are flying hand in hand. She looks back, distressed, insisting, "We have to defeat them fast." Makoto, already flustered, retorts, "Is not it better to start with observation?" A powerful impact rocks the cavern as the battle around them intensifies. The two are locked in a clumsy combat, their movements completely out of sync with each other. A small, devil-like creature with glowing red eyes dives straight for Makoto. Their hands are gripped firmly together, but their teamwork is clearly not working at all. They lunge together, striking as one, but their different styles are clashing badly. Makoto admits that while dodging is easy, they are just hindering each other. He summons his handgun, which glows with an intense, crackling purple magical energy. He fires a shot, creating a brilliant, destructive blast of purple magic that vaporizes an enemy. They stand over the defeated monsters with Makoto asking, "We defeated all of them, right?" Rinoa points out the obvious. We are surrounded because we did not defeat them fast enough. Makoto shouts in frustration. That is true, but even so, a monstrous clawed hand suddenly reaches out from the darkness, signaling a new, greater threat. Makoto raises his weapon again, telling Rinoa that now is not the time to argue. 2 weeks later, they stand before the massive, ornate doors of a C-rank dungeon boss room. They have gotten used to holding hands, but they still have not solved their conflicting combat styles. A somber realization sets in. Fighting a C-rank boss in their current state would be suicide. Makoto pleads, "Let us work together, Rinoa." She hesitantly agrees to try her best. They both realize the important thing is not to try and match each other's movements. Rinoa knows the key is to truly understand each other on a fundamental level. Makoto feels the exact same way, finally seeing the path forward for them. The pair approaches the massive C-rank dungeon boss, the terrifying legacy golem. The golem's single mechanical eye activates, pulsing with an intense blue energy. The towering stone monster looms over the two of them as they stand together, hand in hand. As the golem raises its massive arm, they realize this is the perfect foe to test their new theory. The golem attacks, and Makoto shouts out Rinoa's name in alarm. He summons a huge, glowing purple hammer, thinking, I have to be on the offensive as well. Makoto swings his glowing hammer with all his might, striking the massive golem. The hammer connects with a loud thud, but Makoto realizes it is tough. He grimaces with frustration, thinking he should have been more careful from the start. Rinoa suddenly pulls him into the air, their movements perfectly synchronized for a moment. Their expressions shift from surprise to determination as they begin to connect. Makoto swings his hammer again, aiming for the golem's now glowing body. They leap away from an attack, feathers flying as they coordinate their aerial evasion. But Makoto feels it again, thinking, that is not good, we are out of sync. Rinoa's gaze is locked onto the golem, her expression serious and incredibly focused. Makoto watches her, unable to understand what she is planning or what she is aiming for. A close-up shows their hands firmly clasped together, a silent pact of trust between them. Rinoa, the silver-haired angel of death, looks forward with calm, intense focus. Makoto, his face set in a serious expression, stands ready for whatever comes next. Rinoa's thoughts project to him. Trust me, Makoto, he replies in his mind. I know. Makoto plants his foot, preparing to launch himself forward with explosive power. He fully commits, thinking, I will trust Rinoa, we have to be in sync to become stronger. The golem's massive stone fist crashes down with immense, earth-shattering force. The duo attacks together, a chaotic flurry of coordinated strikes against the hulking figure. Their combined attack lands true, sending a massive crack through the golem's rocky exterior. Makoto delivers another devastating blow, creating a huge burst of energy and debris. The golem reels from the assault as a bright blue light pulses from a weak point in its chest. Makoto realizes he can see its weak point, something he could not have done without following Rinoa. Rinoa's gaze is sharp and resolute, her thoughts clear. Let us finish this at once. They clasp hands again, their fingers interlacing in a display of perfect final synchronization. But Makoto suddenly breaks their rhythm, pulling away. Rinoa exclaims, Makoto. He looks back at her with a steady, confident gaze, a new plan already forming in his mind. Now it is his turn to say, Trust me, Rinoa. She sees his determination and accepts. He executes a strategic maneuver, firing a beam of energy to test the enemy's reaction. He explains his choice. At times like this, we have to reassess our situation first, Rinoa. Rinoa finally understands his method, to assess the situation and limit their risk. The golem's core pulses with a glowing blue light, its weak point completely exposed. The colossal stone monster looms over them, preparing for one final desperate attack. Makoto stands protectively in front of Rinoa, ready to defend against the incoming blow. The golem lunges forward, its massive stone fist surging through the air with deadly intent. Its fist slams into the ground, triggering a massive shockwave that erupts across the floor. Makoto's hand tightens on his weapon as dark, shadowy energy swirls around his grip. He delivers a swift, decisive strike, his weapon creating a jagged, explosive impact. The blow lands on the golem's chest, causing its core to shine with blinding brilliance. Rinoa and Makoto coordinate their assault, launching a barrage of projectiles at the core. Holding Rinoa's hand, Makoto channels dark energy into a spear, readying the final blow. He thinks to himself, I would not be able to conquer this dungeon if it were only me alone. Rinoa has the exact same thought. If it were me alone, I would have been defeated. Makoto finally understands their synergy, unleashing his ultimate skill, Shadow Weapon. They combine their power, creating a massive vertical blade of energy that splits the golem in two. The glowing purple light cuts through the stone, shattering the golem's armor completely. The golem collapses backward onto the dungeon floor with a thunderous crash, finally defeated. Makoto's hand, still wreathed in dark energy, maintains its grip as the aura dissipates. He looks up, his face illuminated with excitement and pure unadulterated relief. He beams with joy, turning to Rinoa with a wide, celebratory grin, shouting, We did it, Rinoa. He raises his hand for a high five, but Rinoa just stands there, watching him with a calm, stoic expression. Makoto tries to explain the concept of a high five to a very confused Rinoa. He praises her performance, but she still seems completely lost by his strange human customs. The scene shifts to a quiet, dimly lit alleyway at night, setting a mysterious mood. Inside a cozy bar, a shelf of dark liquor bottles is bathed in warm, ambient light. Amagi, the blonde warrior, is at the counter, already a few drinks in. A small bell on the door jingles, announcing the arrival of a new customer. A glass of whiskey with a large, glowing ice sphere is placed on a wooden table. Without turning around, Amagi asks the newcomer, "How did you learn about this place?" Makoto stands behind him, explaining, "The chairman told me you are always drinking here, Amagi. He came to thank his mentor, telling him, 'Your guidance helped me a lot.'" Amagi observes him, noting, "Compared to 3 days ago, the one in front of me is not the same man." He turns to Makoto, admitting, "Your growth is beyond my expectations, Makoto." Makoto is visibly startled and touched by the high praise from his powerful mentor. The bartender mentions he just received a deployment email from the Hunter Association. Makoto reveals he has to conquer a B-rank dungeon tomorrow, and Amagi confirms it is a mass mobilization. Makoto holds up his drink, seeing this as a perfect opportunity to show off his new skills. Amagi encourages him, "Show them what you have got. You should be able to do that now, Makoto." A confident smile spreads across Makoto's face as he holds his glass. The two of them clink their glasses together in a celebratory toast. The scene flashes back to several hours earlier inside a meeting room at the Hunter Association. Inside the Hunter Association, officials analyze a newly emerged massive gate on their holographic screen. A man in a white coat insists they summon hunters, turning to the chairman for his final decision. The chairman gives the order to begin selecting the hunters for this dangerous mission. An official named Mishima checks her data, confirming the system has ranked the dungeon as B rank. The chairman's face contorts in shock, repeating the words, "A B rank dungeon, huh?" He quickly regains his composure, announcing he has a specific hunter in mind for a great feat. Mishima listens intently, curious about this special recommendation from the chairman himself. A digital file appears displaying the profile and records of a certain young man. The next day, the air is thick with tension in a quiet forest on the city's outskirts. A massive swirling portal tears through the woods as hunters gather before its ominous glow. Makoto arrives, noting the large number of hunters, before someone aggressively calls out to him. A hostile hunter points a finger right in his face, shouting about his demon contract. He continues his tirade, claiming Makoto's existence is a betrayal to all hunters who have lost family. Makoto remains completely stoic, his expression cold and unfazed by the verbal assault. He understands their reaction is logical, deciding it is best to de-escalate the situation for now. But the others join in, calling him trash and saying an incompetent like him has no place here. Makoto internally questions this treatment but calmly states they are all just doing their jobs. This answer only enrages another hunter, who draws a crackling electric weapon on him. The attacker lunges forward with his sparking blade, aiming to kill Makoto on the spot. But Makoto stands his ground, his hand glowing with a mysterious, dark purple power. Before he can counter, a massive blast of golden yellow power erupts, stopping the fight. The attacker recoils in surprise as a magical shockwave washes over the area. A woman with vibrant pink hair appears, commanding them to stop fighting amongst themselves. Another hunter shouts her name in disbelief. Kadu, recognizing the famous Arankar. The attacker looks completely startled as someone else shakes his hand, breaking the tension. Kadu, the pink-haired influencer, takes charge, telling everyone to get over it and move out. She is cheerful but has an aura of authority, as expected from an Arank hunter with 3 million followers. Makoto glances back, his expression calm, while a cloaked figure watches him from the background. The mysterious figure clutches their chest, thinking, "So he is Asuka Makoto." A few minutes later, the scene transitions to the inside of the dungeon. They find themselves in a vast, cracked desert landscape under a blindingly bright sun. One hunter is already wiping sweat from his brow, complaining about the intense heat. The camera focuses on their footwear, contrasting sturdy boots with Kadu's stylish platform sneakers. The entire party stands together on the edge of a deep, jagged, and dark canyon. Kadu shields her eyes from the glare, looking down into the abyss with suspicion. Deep within the shadows below, a horde of menacing red-eyed demons stares back up at them. Kadu's expression becomes determined. She trusts her judgment and knows what she must do. She asks if anyone has an earth or water skill to build a bridge across the chasm. Kadu looks down at Makoto, who adjusts his hood, ready to follow her command. She then tells another hunter to keep an eye on the demons below for any weird moves. The hunter agrees, knowing they'd be in trouble if attacked by the demons from below. But suddenly, another hunter steps between Makoto and Kadu, the atmosphere growing tense. With a cold, piercing gaze, Kadu snaps her fingers, initiating a treacherous plan. Makoto is suddenly knocked backward, caught completely off guard by the sudden betrayal. His face shows pure shock as he is pushed away, wondering what is happening. Kadu coldly reveals the truth. They have decided to kill him and make it look like an accident. Makoto realizes the gravity of his situation. They see him as a dangerous liability. The hooded figure from before confirms it, saying, "Everyone here hates the demons," Kadu finishes, revealing their deep-seated prejudice and cruel motivation. Without another word, they forcefully throw Makoto into the dark, demon-infested abyss. He grits his teeth in desperation, his eyes wide as he tries to use his powers to survive. The group watches from above, cruelly amused, certain he will be killed by the B-rank demons. Kadu looks down, thinking this is the best choice, offering a hollow, meaningless apology. Makoto is suspended midair, desperately trying to manifest his power as the world cracks around him. He hits the ground injured, remembering a past failure, but this time feels different. A ring on his finger pulses as his hand glows with intense purple energy, activating his contract. A powerful spectral winged woman manifests behind him, his dark protector taking control of the fall. A new resolve fills him as two simple words echo in his mind. It is different this time. Dark, crackling energy erupts from his hand, manifesting powerful chains that lash out. The thick, glowing purple chains fly through the air, violently slamming into the chasm wall. Makoto and his winged partner descend into the ravine, pursued by swarming, red-eyed devils. He knows he cannot possibly climb back up in his current state, trapped in the abyss. The monsters below are B-rank high devils, far more dangerous than any he has faced before. But as a swirling vortex of dark energy gathers in his hand, a single thought emerges. But he and his partner hover in the air, confident they can overcome this challenge together. They look up from the bottom of the chasm towards a stone bridge far, far above. Hiding in the shadows, Makoto knows he has to move quickly, but he needs a plan. He summons his power, gripping the handle of a dark, spectral weapon from his shadow. A powerful arc of purple energy cuts through the air, striking down the lurking monsters. The red-eyed devils recoil in fear as the wave of shadow energy descends upon them. The winged woman hovers majestically above Makoto, who stands ready with his weapon drawn. A chaotic battle unfolds as sharp blades of shadow energy tear through the demonic horde. Makoto is surprised by his own strength. His mana and physical abilities are on another level. He stands alone in the chasm, radiating power, stunning the demons with his sudden strength. He manipulates glowing purple chains, effortlessly binding and restraining the horned devils. He declares that thanks to their training, they can now defeat this level of demon with ease. The pair launches a coordinated strike, sending a massive wave of energy through the demonic forces. A hidden watcher observes from a crevice, amazed by his B-rank hunter movements. The watcher presses a hand against the rock, a glowing blue gem on their palm activating. Suddenly, the cliffside gives way, and the watcher cries out in alarm as they begin to fall. A massive speech bubble fills the screen with a comical, drawn-out scream of shock. The figure in the green coat hits the ground with a loud bam, crying out in pain. Lying on the ground, they reach out, relieved to find they are somehow still alive. But their relief is short-lived as two menacing, winged demons loom over them in the darkness. Makoto, hearing the commotion, looks over, startled and confused by the sudden development. The person in the green coat cowers as a demon strikes, letting out a terrified scream. Cornered against the rocks, they plead with the shadowy figure to stop its attack. A close-up reveals their tear-filled, fearful eyes as they brace for the inevitable. But Makoto appears in a flash, shielding them with a protective purple barrier. The person in the green coat looks up, breathless and trembling, whispering his name, Makoto. Makoto looks down at the stranger, his purple-hued eyes asking, "Who are you?" The person bows deeply in gratitude, thanking Makoto for saving their life. They stand and introduce themselves as Izumi Yuki, not expecting Makoto to know them. But Makoto is stunned, recognizing the name of the youngest person to ever become a hunter. Yuki gestures to himself, confirming his identity, though Makoto seems surprised he is not a girl. Yuki laughs, blushing slightly, and corrects the misunderstanding. "Ah, I am a man." Makoto's pale-haired companion, Renoa, sternly declares, "Lying is not good." Makoto has to explain to her that sometimes such things just happen in the human world. He then turns back to Yuki, confused, remembering Yuki had called his name earlier. Yuki explains that he has actually known about Makoto for quite some time now. In a flashback, Yuki is seen watching Makoto train, admiring his refusal to ever give up. He exclaims that Makoto is his role model for courage, which makes Makoto blush with embarrassment. Makoto realizes with surprise that someone was actually looking up to him all this time. Yuki explains he was worried and fell by accident while watching, which Makoto finds endearing. Believing it must be fate, Makoto reaches out a hand and invites Yuki to join them. Yuki reacts with wide-eyed surprise and eagerly accepts the offer, taking his hand. The new trio continues their journey through the dungeon, a massive mountain looming ahead. Makoto easily dispatches the remaining winged demons, binding them with his glowing purple chains. Surrounded by swirling magical energy, he strikes a powerful pose, declaring, "This is the last one." Yuki watches in the foreground as Makoto and Renoa walk away, completely in awe. His face is illuminated with a look of pure, starstruck wonder at Makoto's power. Makoto holds a small, glowing purple object, satisfied with his progress and new strength. Yuki approaches him, asking how he can become as strong as his new idol. The question makes Makoto and Renoa share a confused look, as their method is unconventional. The question triggers a traumatic flashback for Yuki of a fiery battlefield and accusations. Yuki is shown terrified and panicked, trying to deny he meant to hurt his comrades. He remembers reaching for a fallen friend on the scorched ground, horrified by what he'd done. The memory leaves Yuki pale, sweating and trembling with intense, unresolved fear. Makoto notices his distress and apologizes for bringing up an unpleasant memory. He understands that a trauma caused by one's own skill is not something easily overcome. Makoto kneels down on the cracked earth, ready to offer some words of comfort. He tells Yuki that even though they just met, he knows Yuki has been doing his best. Yuki looks up with wide, gentle eyes as Makoto places a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Makoto knows that genuine effort will never betray a person in the end. He adds with a warm, sincere smile that just wanting to help is enough for now. Yuki is deeply moved. No one has ever shown him such kindness and understanding before. He grips a brilliant blue crystal tightly in his hand, making a new resolve. He hands the crystal to Makoto as a token of his gratitude and newfound determination. With his hand pressed to his chest, Yuki declares he will definitely become Makoto's strength. Makoto smiles warmly, relieved to see the young hunter regaining his confidence. The trio walks together through a desolate mountain pass, united as a team. 10 hours after entering the dungeon, they finally reach the top of the mountain. There they see the other hunters facing the massive B-rank boss, the Emperor Devil. One of the hunters shouts that preparations are finished, telling everyone to get back. The hulking demonic boss lunges forward and the pink-haired Kadu stands ready to face it. She raises her hand, summoning a radiant blue divine spirit to do her bidding. A massive blast of blue energy engulfs the Emperor Devil, overwhelming it completely. The demon boss is struck head-on, its red eyes wide in pain as it utters a final cry. The others cheer for Kadu, amazed at how easily she defeated the boss with a single hit. Kadu smiles softly, believing the boss is dead and everyone is safe now. But their celebration is cut short as a massive, dark entity emerges with violent, shadowy energy. Kadu stares in shock as dark cracks spread across the ground, sensing a violent new mana. A single boot lands heavily on the cracked earth, surrounded by swirling black energy. A bare-chested man in a hoodie appears, grunting that all this movement requires a lot of mana. Kadu's companions gasp in terror, realizing this new threat is a Majin, a high-ranking demon. The man stumbles, clutching his side as dark energy spikes around him, feigning weakness. The other hunters see this and whisper that he looks weak, thinking this will be an easy win. They foolishly declare they will make an opening for Kadu to finish him off. Kadu desperately shouts for them to stop, knowing they are acting carelessly. But it is too late. She watches in horror as two of them are launched into the air, bleeding. Her eyes catch the reflection of the hooded man and she realizes something is wrong. The man holds up a bloodied hand, mocking them for being so weak after defeating the boss. He grins with sharp teeth, taunting Kadu directly. "Wanna have a go? We are gonna fight, right?" Kadu stands firm, surrounded by blue energy, and commands everyone else to get away. Her companions flee as she prepares to face the powerful Majin alone on the crumbling battlefield. The Majin introduces himself with a predatory grin. "My name is Jaga, what is yours?" Kadu manifests her water spirit and firmly replies she does not tell demons her name. Jaga looks down at her unimpressed and says he will just have to make her talk then. He moves with incredible speed, slicing through the air and creating a vortex of energy. Kadu's eyes go wide with sudden, intense alarm as she reacts to his impossibly fast attack. Jaga delivers a brutal, swift kick to her side, sending her flying across the ground. Staring up from the dust, her eyes are wide with terror. She cannot even process his speed. He lands another devastating strike, causing a massive shockwave to erupt across the battlefield. His heavy boot pins her to the ground, the force of it knocking the wind out of her. He looms over her with a menacing grin, again demanding to know her name. Kadu glares up at him with defiance, shouting that she will never tell a mere demon. Jaga's hand becomes engulfed in a swirling, dark crimson vortex of energy. "Fine then," he says. A violent aura of red energy surrounds him as he utters a single chilling command: "Die." A close-up captures Kadu's face, her expression one of pure, unadulterated fear. But before Jaga can strike, long, glowing purple chains whip through the air towards him. Makoto has arrived, his expression intense and focused as he wields his crackling magic. He stands with his back to Jaga, his purple chains snaking across the battlefield to protect Kadu. The spectral Majin Renoa manifests behind him as he declares, "Enough, you Majin." Makoto strikes, forcing the shirtless demon to leap backward to dodge the lethal assault. He dashes forward across the cracked terrain, his purple aura trailing behind him. The other hunters watch from afar in complete disbelief, unable to comprehend what is happening. They realize Makoto somehow survived as he commands Yuki to get Kadu to a safe place. As Yuki carries her away, Kadu asks why he is helping after she tried to kill him. Makoto stands alone, his silhouette imposing, stating, "This is what I think is the right choice." Kadu looks back over her shoulder at her savior, a mix of shock and realization on her face. Now Makoto stands alone, facing Jaga and his own spectral partner in the desolate landscape. Jaga looks at his new opponent, a chilling, excited smirk spreading across his face. He notes Makoto's shadow abilities and the fallen angel by his side. Jaga realizes with a sinister laugh, "This is the human that person was talking about." He taunts Makoto, his long red claws ready, eager to start this new exciting fight. Jaga lunges through the air with predatory speed, meeting Makoto's glowing purple blade. Their weapons clash head-on, erupting in a brilliant explosion of light and magical energy. The force of their collision sends shockwaves through the desert as they struggle for dominance. Jaga's razor-sharp red claws are mere inches away from Makoto's powerful energy defense. The demon executes a powerful aerial kick, which Makoto blocks with a sweep of purple energy. Undeterred, Makoto channels light from his palm, manifesting ethereal chains that lash out. The demon is suddenly ensnared by the glowing chains as Makoto prepares a powerful follow-up. But Jaga's face is twisted into a maniacal grin, clearly enjoying being restrained. Makoto delivers a wide strike with his blade, forcing the demon into a defensive arch. The scene focuses on the intense, high-speed exchange of blows between the two combatants. A tight focus reveals Jaga's bared teeth and his manic, focused expression mid-fight. Even with his leg clamped by the glowing chains, Jaga pulls out a dark, futuristic firearm. The distant observers stand in awe, witnessing the sheer destructive force of the battle. Jaga laughs. Nice you, while Makoto, though struggling, replies, this is fun. The hunters watch in shock, one exclaiming, he is evenly matched with the demon I could not even touch. But one of his allies can only watch, thinking he'd just get in the way. Suddenly, a monstrous hand descends, glowing with a sinister purple energy. Makoto pushes forward with his own blade, determined to break through the demon's defenses. The demon grins, charging up a ball of red energy, taunting. Then can you dodge this? Makoto stands his ground, eyes locked on his foe, ready for whatever comes next. The demon unleashes a massive wave of power, shouting the technique's name, Dark Extreme. The explosion is immense, forcing Makoto and his companion to shield themselves from the blast. Amidst the swirling dust, the demon stands confident, ready for his next move. But Makoto remains calm, thinking to himself that big techniques always leave big openings. And just like that, he closes the distance, landing a precise energy-infused strike to the gut. Blood erupts from the demon's body, the brutal impact of the blow undeniable. The demon, blood dripping from his chin, reveals his true power, Red Dead Blood Death Law. A massive pillar of crimson energy erupts from the ground, forcing Makoto back. Makoto's eye widens in shock, a dawning realization hitting him hard. The entire battlefield has transformed into a forest of razor-sharp, blood-red spikes. The demon stands calmly amidst his creation while Makoto scrambles to dodge the lethal traps. Perched precariously on a spike, he wonders if this is the power of blood manipulation. He questions everything he is seeing, asking himself, is this a demon's ability? The demon smirks, confirming it. Correct, we demons each have a unique ability called Dark Arts. He admits it has been a while since he was forced to use it, revealing Makoto has the attention of a certain Grom-sama. The demon spreads his arms wide, proudly declaring himself a faithful subordinate of Grom. He then gives a little lesson on demon hierarchy, from lower class all the way to special class. Makoto is floored. The mighty Grom is only middle class, and this monster is lower class. The demon laughs. Kyufufu, did you despair? Mocking him from across the field of blood spikes. Red energy flares around him as he announces the start of round 2, but Makoto is ready, clenching his fists as a vibrant purple aura surrounds him. He skillfully parries an attack, his purple shadow weapon clashing explosively with the red energy. Makoto notes that in terms of sheer hardness, his shield is definitely more effective. The demon is shocked as his red construct is swatted away by a swirling dark force. Makoto shows off his weapon's versatility, shouting, you can use it like this too. The demon just grins, baring his sharp teeth. I told you not to underestimate me. He lunges forward with incredible speed, claws leaving a dark trail as he strikes. Makoto meets the challenge, his hand glowing with dark purple energy, asking, can you keep up with this? He struggles to control his own power, thinking how troublesome it is to be this smart. The demon dodges, but Makoto's purple energy blades slash through the air, narrowly missing, but a hit lands. Blood sprays as the demon is knocked back, completely stunned. Recovering, his expression twists into pure irritation. Ah geez, so annoying. From a distance, his friends watch, one exclaiming that Makoto is pushing the demon back. Blood drips onto the cracked ground, a testament to the brutal intensity of their fight. The demon watches silently, his silhouette looming over Makoto, who stands ready for more. The horned figure grins with pure malice, an evil idea sparking in his mind. Suddenly, long red tendrils shoot across the battlefield, ensnaring Makoto's allies. The hunters are trapped, crying out in terror as the bindings tighten around them. Makoto roars in anger, his purple weapon glowing as he shouts, such cowardly tactics. But as he charges, the demon points a clawed finger, coldly stating, it is too late now. The captives struggle helplessly, one of them screaming that this is bad. The pink-haired girl squeezes her eyes shut, bracing for an impact she cannot avoid. A violent smash echoes across the field, the sound itself a brutal red slash. The girl opens her eyes, trembling, a small cut on her face the only sign of the near miss. She sees that Makoto has taken the hit for her, his body pierced by multiple red spikes. Pinned and bleeding, Makoto gasps, realizing the demon used him as a human shield. The pink-haired girl asks in confusion, why would you go that far for us? Even bound by tendrils and impaled, Makoto grits his teeth and simply says, I got it. His companion cries out his name, realizing they have to do something about those whips. The young ally clenches his fist, knowing he has to use his powers even if he is still scared. The demon towers over his prey, mocking his weakness before unleashing a final attack. His friend's eye reflects the overwhelming red light of the incoming storm of blades. A memory flashes through his mind, Makoto's words, effort never betrays you. He reaches out, a blue spark on his hand, vowing to finally be of help to Makoto. His fist ignites with brilliant golden flames, his willpower manifesting as pure power. He remembers how Makoto believed in him when no one else did. Fueled by a promise, he screams, I will save Makoto-san, unleashing everything he has. The demon Izumi Yuki looks on in complete shock at the sudden burst of power. A massive, blinding explosion of fire erupts, tearing through the entire battlefield. The blast rages on, a colossal inferno consuming everything in its path. In the aftermath, tendrils of red energy crackle across the fractured, desolate ground. From high above, the battlefield is shrouded in thick, dark smoke, a scene of total chaos. A nearby observer cannot believe it, knowing Yuki's past trauma held back his true power. A heavy boot steps down, and its owner, the demon, pants heavily. Ha ha. The shirtless demon stands amidst the smoke, grinning. Not bad taking out your allies with me, but Yuki just thinks to himself, the old me would have done that. A surge of vibrant purple energy suddenly clears the smoke with a powerful shockwave. There stands Makoto, completely unharmed, wielding a glowing blade of dark energy. He turns to his allies, a newfound resolve in his voice, and says, "That was helpful." He smiles at his companion, affirming their perfect teamwork. "Perfect support, Yuki." Yuki pumps a fist, a blue glow on his hand, shouting yes, in pure unadulterated joy. The demon Izumi Yuki stares in disbelief. Uninjured from that explosion, that kid controlled it. Yuki stands side by side with his friend, thinking, I can fight too, this time I will truly help. They share a fist bump, a silent agreement of their renewed trust and partnership. The demon realizes he is in deep trouble. I should settle this battle quickly. An intense, ominous aura surrounds the hooded demon as he channels his dark energy. Makoto senses it immediately, his expression shifting to alarm. A big attack is coming. A menacing hand reaches out, wreathed in crimson power. A demon's secret art is being unleashed. The demon's form swells into a towering, menacing figure, dwarfing the two heroes below. He unleashes his technique, a violent torrent of red energy that forces them to scramble. Makoto sweats, realizing the attack is faster and more numerous than before. He cannot deflect it all. Just then, a hand in a green sleeve firmly grips his arm, signaling a change in plans. His companion grits his teeth, shouting, "Leave it to me," as he prepares to move. With fiery energy erupting from his boots, he activates his technique, Boost Explosive Wind Rush. An explosive burst of speed sends them hurtling across the battlefield, dodging the storm. The demon's face is a mask of strained effort as he narrowly evades their counter. But when the dust settles, the enemy has vanished, leaving the heroes stunned. Where did he go? He reappears in the distance, mocking them, threatening to target the weaker survivors. The horned demon looks up, his eyes cold and calculating as he pinpoints their location. Working in perfect tandem, the two heroes launch into the air, propelled by jets of fire. The demon sneers, "How foolish, you're full of openings in midair," and unleashes his attack again. Massive spikes of red energy erupt from the ground, threatening to impale them from below. But the boy in green grits his teeth, vowing not to betray Makoto's trust. "Here I go." A blinding, golden explosion tears through the sky, a cataclysmic attack aimed straight down. The world is consumed by a flash of white light, the absolute culmination of their combined power. A massive explosion rocks the sky, but the hooded figure below simply braces for impact. He looks up in utter disbelief, his ultimate technique completely nullified. My demon's secret art. High above, Makoto maneuvers through the chaos, his glowing violet blade ready. The demon grunts, trying to fire again, thinking his foe should not be able to use such power twice. He attempts to channel his energy, red flames flickering weakly from his hands. A crosshair pattern glows in his eye as despair sets in. I cannot activate it, my blood is gone. It all clicks into place. Yuki's first explosion was not just a distraction, it was a trap. The heat from that blast had vaporized the demon's blood, rendering his powers useless. With his defenses gone, a glowing purple blade slices through him with ease. A massive beam of purple energy strikes down, crushing the demon beneath its overwhelming force. Blood erupts from his body as his arms are severed in the brutal, decisive blow. Makoto lands, his long blade held low, looming over his defeated, collapsing opponent. The demon looks up, acknowledging his loss. Not bad, human, it is my loss. But with his last breath, he triggers a final attack, a crimson, self-destructive parting gift. An eye reflects the carnage, the pupil dilated in the final, consuming red glow. The boy in the green cloak lunges through the air, screaming, I will not let you. A massive wall of golden flame erupts, shielding Makoto from the final inferno. The flames swirl into the shape of a roaring dragon, a final act of protection. The boy tumbles through the sky, his face illuminated by a soft, hopeful light. On the ground, his friends panic, realizing their escape technique will not activate in time. But in a flash, Makoto is there, catching his smaller companion in a secure embrace. The rescued ally cries out, Makoto-san, I am sorry, thank you. Looking up with teary eyes, he says, I could only win because of you, Yuki, thank you. A single tear wells in his eye, a symbol of profound relief and gratitude. He continues to cry loudly, overcome with joy and relief that they survived. Makoto panics internally. I made her cry. Wait, was not the story that she is not a girl? The other survivors watch from a distance, exclaiming, Amazing, you defeated a demon. They surround the pair, cheering them as heroes who saved them all. But their celebration is cut short as their expressions shift to sudden, intense alarm. The pink-haired girl steps forward, pointing at the crowd. Idiots, first apologize to Asuka-kun. She gestures to Makoto, who they now realize is the hunter they had antagonized. The entire group bows their heads in a deep, sincere apology for their behavior. The girl explains her hostility, admitting her brother was killed by a demon. She thought Makoto contracted to a demon was the same, but now she realizes she was wrong. He was not a monster, he was a proper hunter who protected people, even them. Overwhelmed with guilt, she thinks their actions were utterly unforgivable. But Makoto is gentle, telling them it is natural to be anxious and their actions were justified. He even apologizes for not explaining things sooner, asking them to please lift their heads. The pink-haired girl looks up, moved, but still feels a simple apology is not enough. Makoto just waves his hand dismissively, telling them their earlier actions conveyed everything. A portrait of Makoto shows his calm, gentle smile, a stark contrast to the battle just fought. The pink-haired girl, however, looks shocked and distressed, sweating as she gazes at him. but her expression softens into a warm smile as she thanks him again. She looks up with pure admiration, calling him Makoto Shichai and declaring he is really cool. Makoto is startled by the sudden nickname, pointing at himself in confusion. He gets flustered, trying to downplay her promise to repay the debt he insists does not exist. Later, in the chairman's office, Makoto is praised for leading the demon's subjugation. The chairman puts out his cigar, acknowledging that Makoto did well regardless of who helped. They shake hands and the chairman delivers the good news: Makoto's punishment is officially cancelled. Makoto clenches his fist in pure relief. "Thank you," he says, overcome with gratitude. But just as the official announcement is being prepared, an assistant bursts in with terrible news. Makoto's information has been leaked to the media and it is causing a massive uproar. A tablet displays the breaking news headline: Association cover-up, hunter who contracted with a demon. Makoto stares in disbelief, his face pale with panic. No way! Outside the towering Hunter Association building, a storm is brewing. A massive crowd of reporters has gathered, shouting questions and demanding answers. Peeking through the blinds, the chairman sighs. This was the one situation he wanted to avoid. He orders an emergency press conference to try and control the narrative. He apologizes to Makoto, taking full responsibility for the leak and the association's decision. For his own safety, he tells Makoto to stay hidden in a prepared room until things calm down. Makoto grimaces, his glowing purple eye filled with tension and distress. He clenches his fist, trembling with the weight of the situation, but agrees. "I understand." That same afternoon, inside the association's grand hall, the chaos begins. A press conference opens, the room filled with flashing cameras and eager reporters. An official steps to the podium, confirming the rumor is an undeniable fact. A reporter immediately challenges him. Does this mean the association is colluding with demons? The official firmly denies it, explaining the demon was formerly a divine spirit. The broadcast is shown on screens everywhere, amplifying the seriousness of the situation. Online, public reaction is a storm of fear and panic, with people calling it too scary. Makoto watches the stream, realizing humanity's hatred for demons is worse than he ever imagined. His winged companion tries to comfort him, saying his demon partner Reno is not bad. On screen, a reporter asks the critical question: is safety guaranteed? The citizens are anxious. A new authoritative voice cuts through the noise: "I will answer that question." A blond, sharp-featured man walks onto the stage, his presence commanding the room. It is Amagi, an S-rank hunter, and his involvement sends a ripple of shock through the crowd. He grips the podium, his stance firm and unwavering. He declares that the moment he judges Makoto to be a danger, he will personally eliminate him. The crowd whispers in awe, reassured that the strongest hunter is taking responsibility. But they demand to see Makoto, shouting for him to come out and explain himself. Amagi stares them down with his piercing blue eyes. "If we did that, you'd all attack him." On stage, the officials quietly agree that the information leak has made things very troublesome. Makoto watches the entire tense press conference unfold on his smartphone. He sees the live chat comments, a flood of execute, 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 and feels utterly helpless. Suddenly, a strange notification bubble pops up over the live broadcast on his screen. He looks closer, his glowing purple eye filled with anxious curiosity. It is a notification for an emergency live stream from someone called Sarah Channel. The stream promises to expose the truth about the trending hunter with valuable secret information. Even the men at the press conference are alerted to the influencer's sudden broadcast. Makoto stares at his phone in alarm, his silver-haired companion leaning in to see what is happening. A vibrant splash screen appears, signaling the start of the Sarah Channel live stream. A girl with pink and blue hair waves, announcing she has secret footage she is about to release. She grins, teasing that her footage will reveal the true nature of the demon-contracted hunter. The stream switches to a grainy, glitched video feed, a play button ready to start the show. Two reporters watch eagerly, ready to write a scathing article, grateful to the influencer. But the footage that plays is not what they expected. It is Makoto fighting a terrifying demon. The shaky video shows him clashing with the monster, a powerful purple energy attack lighting the screen. It then shows a terrifying close-up of the demon's manic, predatory grin. Then the footage shows Makoto, wounded and pierced by spikes, still fighting desperately. The reporters stare at their phones, their expressions shifting from excitement to shock. The final distorted frame shows Makoto's hand gripping his shadow weapon, ready for battle. The footage continues, showing the protagonist dodging through a storm of violent purple energy, and watching all of this from afar is the real Makoto, his winged spirit companion at his side. Back at the press conference, a blond man stands at the podium, addressing the silent room. He looks towards a high-ranking official who is intently reviewing the situation on a device. The broadcast source is revealed, a streamer who apologizes for her misleading clickbait title. Her stream asks a simple question: after seeing him risk his life, how is he dangerous? The streamer, Kato Sarah, looks directly into her camera with a message for the world. Makoto watches her words on his phone as she calls him a noble hunter who protects people. She passionately begs her viewers, telling them to attack her but to please believe in him. And this entire world-changing broadcast is just a girl on her floor pleading for his sake. An audience member at the conference has a change of heart. This hunter is not bad at all. Kato Sarah's passion explodes on screen as she gushes about how cool he is. Supportive comments flood her chat, bringing tears of relief to her emotional eyes. She gives a little wave to the camera, hoping she helped repay her debt to Makoto Shichai. Watching from his hidden spot, a small, subtle smile finally appears on Makoto's face. He turns to his companion and quietly says, "Kato-san, thank you, his good deed rewarded." A cute chibi version of the streamer signs off her mission an overwhelming success. The atmosphere in the conference hall is completely transformed, the entire room now focused. The man at the podium smiles confidently. It seems a Q&A session is no longer necessary. As camera flashes erupt, he officially declares Makoto a hunter necessary for the entire world. The stream ends, and with it, public opinion has been completely and utterly flipped. His winged companion, Reno, looks down with concern as Makoto is overcome with emotion. He looks up, tearful but determined, declaring their mission to save the world has not changed. Reno smiles softly, reassuring him that this was always her intention from the start. Several years later, a colossal purple gate rips open the sky, a threat to all humanity. Reporters shout and point their cameras as a powerful purple light signals a grand arrival. They are here, the strongest hunters humanity has to offer, and the crowd is left stunned. A cameraman stammers in total disbelief, realizing exactly who has just appeared before them. The crowd absolutely erupts as the legendary hunter's name is announced, Makoto Asuka. Reno and another ally stand with their backs to the crowd, ready to face the gate. Makoto reflects that he only made it this far because people finally chose to believe in him. He gives his deepest thanks to Reno for continuing to fight right alongside him. Reno affirms her bond, stating that fighting with him until the end is her reason for being. Makoto flashes a brilliant smile, raising a fist, ready to restore the light for everyone. Wings unfurled and hands clasped together, they charge into battle as humanity's greatest hope.